So hello everybody, how are you? Hopefully you guys can see and hear us just fine. StreamYard seems like it's doing something new. What it is, I don't know. But anyway, I see Brother Reggie say Pearly who. When I saw that, I was cracking up. He says when you came into the chat, we come into the chat, yes, please hit the like and the thumbs up and all that. Love and appreciate you. Hello, only Pamela's Way. How you doing? He says hello, Sister Demetra. And the only reason I know who this is because Brother Great Black Shark did a broadcast. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known. She's still a Becky. Yes, for a lack of better words. And so, as y'all can see here, that is not a ghost, even though he disappears sometimes. You see that? That is actually Walter. Yeah, Walter's in Texas. That's kind of why we were late because we were looking for real estate out there. So we're a little bit disheveled, if you will, but we are here. And Links 101, how you doing? Says she's a fraud. Yeah, it sounds like. And Brother Reggie says, oh, brother, yes, Walter's in Texas. And Rain Love, how you doing? Big Rich, what's going on with you? Everybody saying hello to you, Walter. You want to say hello to the people before we get started?
Stop disappearing.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I could do that at home.
So you don't want to say hello?
Oh, what's up, people? Oh, see, I'm used to I don't hear it. It's just so weird. What's up, people?
So anyway, we're going to talk about that for a little bit. And I actually saw somebody who I really kind of, I'm not feeling a lot by the name of Dennis Sperling. I saw him on Twitter talking about it. And I'm going to put up exactly what he said in just a few. But Just Pearly Things, and I do not know her name, her real name. But as you guys saw by the thumbnail, she is a very white woman. And I've seen a few of her things. And it seems like she has a large audience of Black men. And it often seems like she has Black people on the show. And the accusation is that she has stolen Kevin Samuel's stuff. I don't know. You guys will probably be able to tell me more because I don't watch her. I've seen quite a bit of Kevin Samuel's things. But I'll take some of the brother's word for it. And Dennis Sperling actually, I guess he was Kevin Samuel's good friend, so I guess he would probably know. Who else came on here? No Dap, how you doing? And Jan Mike, what's going on with you? He says that is why is the brother behind me? Oh, listen, I offered him the pilot seat, but he says no. I'm going to sit there. That's Walter, by the way, and he's actually it's two things he's doing here. One, he's going to have the conversation as we always do on Wealth Wednesdays, and he is learning how to actually navigate the StreamYard, but he did not want to sit here, so it's not that he is behind me. Forgive me. And Eunice, what's going on? Says good evening. I hope all is well with you, Demetra, and as well as Walter. Yes, and Asha, how are you doing? It's all right. Let's get into it, and then we're also going to talk about what we were doing around Houston this afternoon. So let me go ahead and put this up here for you guys. So this is how you share a screen. You got to actually go to Windows. See this here? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm going to share. You put that up. All right. So this is what he said. He says, I told you ninjas when Kevin Samuels died that you would be hearing his talking points coming from people that don't look like us. And I explained why. In January, I told you ninjas that the white girl was the new leader of the Black manosphere, and I explained why. Now, I will say in all fairness, I have not seen or heard his explanation. I guess I'd have to do that. But I saw that, and I looked a little bit further into it, and I've seen quite a few people talking about it. I saw that Willie D actually talked about it a while ago, and someone else said Great Black Shark talked about it, and a couple other people were doing videos basically agreeing to what Dennis is saying. And so I'm asking the question, is she really like the queen of the brothers? Now, anybody who has been living under a rock, Kevin Samuels, obviously, well, let's just be in all fairness, he actually was talking to the men first. He was not talking to the ladies. He was talking to the fellas. And, you know, admonishing the fellas and edifying and all that, how to dress and smell good and how to treat women and get your money up and all that kind of stuff, right? And then He really did not come into prominence as far as everybody else was concerned until he did the average at best video when he was, talking to a sister. And I guess when he would ask women to rate themselves, he asked her to rate herself. And I guess she said higher than average. And he says, well, you're average at best. And then bam, his celebrity took off, if you will. And in a lot of cases, not for good reasons, because a lot of sisters, were mad. That seemed like he was kind of down talking Black women. And so this is where I guess the accusation comes in with Pearly Things, is that she has a legion of followers. And from what I understand, most of them are Black men. So what I want to know is, why are Black men following this white woman when we know that one of the most dangerous things to a Black man is a Black, I don't know if that was a Freudian slip, is a white woman, right? A white woman has gotten Black men in so much trouble throughout the existence of white women and Black men. Okay, we can even throw Emmett Till in there, and even to this day, right? It has Michael Irvin. He was Irvin. Is that how you say Michael Irvin?
Talking about the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah. He got in trouble with a white woman in a hotel in Arizona, where she said that he said something inappropriate to her, and he is now suing the Marriott for $100 million because he was let go of his Super Bowl hosting duties with the NFL due to her accusations. And he went on to say, this is nothing more than a lynching. This is what happened to brothers with white women back in the day. They would just lie on them, right? And so what I want to know is,
I was in the hotel with her.
well, because he was staying there, because he was going to be doing the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl was in Arizona, right?
Oh, she was in his room.
So she was a worker there. And so I guess he was in the lounge, or the what do you call it, the reception area, somewhere like that. And they were just having a conversation. He said, I don't really remember talking to her, because I talked to a lot of people. But she said that he, said something inappropriate to her. And then they, being the Marriott, called the NFL, and then they let him go. And so he was like, she lied on me, right? Which it sounds like she did. So the point that I'm making is, why are, and I'm not saying y'all, but if anybody knows, why are y'all following a white woman? And why y'all listen to a white woman give y'all relationship advice about anybody, especially a woman that don't look like her? And that's kind of what I want to know. And it's not just me, it's the brothers. And I would say Dennis Sperling is probably, way up there as far as the manosphere is concerned. And so he's actually asking this question, or raising this point as to what's going on here. And so I'm asking too. So I'm going to get into the comment section and see what you guys are saying. And then Walter and I are going to talk about what we were doing in Houston.
It's funny, you're talking about Pearly Things. Actually, she didn't start off. Her claim to fame, in my opinion, didn't come from Kevin Samuels. She piggybacked Andrew Tate, which is still a Black man. Well, he's mixed, so I guess he could be either way. That's when I started following her. It's funny when Andrew Tate got canceled, and so she kind of, I can't remember. I was Googling his name, and then she popped up, and she said something that caught my eye, talking about the modern woman, wanting this kind of man and all these things. But she was like, these hoes. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna follow this chick. So I didn't, all the race shit, her color, I never thought about any of that. She just made a good point. I didn't realize she was even, I've never seen her show. I just catch her shorts. But she's dropping knowledge. To me, I didn't realize she was talking to Black men. I just thought she was talking to everybody.
Are you Black?
But I watch white people. I watched a white sitcom yesterday, but I don't watch my TV based on the color of their skin. If I was watching Black TV, I'd be watching some bullshit most of the time anyway. And that ain't me saying that. I hear that shit on this. So I didn't realize it was a race thing until today. We was in the car. Well,
Sister Tamiko, how you doing? It says, when Sister George from the Breakdown tried to warn Black people about Just Pearly Things, Black men shut her down. For real? Well, tell them to come see me. Says Just Pearly Things is heavily protected by the Black manosphere, and you cannot go after her because Black men will attack. Say it ain't so.
I didn't realize she had a Black male following until today. I just thought is she talking to Black men, or is she talking to everybody? Because I never heard her talk about race. I do notice when I see her show, she got black people on the show, and then the Brittany Griner. I don't know what the deal is with her, but she seems like she's surrounded by black people. I mean, is she against the black man? Or is she, she? I guess
it sounds like she's hijacked from what Dennis Sperling was saying, Kevin Samuels' talking points, and now she has a legion. She has over 1 million followers on YouTube. It sounds like the majority of those followers are black men. And so I want to know why. You said because she was knowledgeable. Is that what you're saying?
So I was Googling, because one day I was like, okay, you know what? I need to find a man to follow that is a man's man. Let's say it like it is. Men go out, get the money. Women step to the side, let your man lead. You get behind him, scratch his back, and make sure you guys win together. So I was looking for that, and I found him, but then he kind of got canceled, and so I was Googling because his Twitter, all his shit got shut off. And then I wasn't able to find him, so I was Googling his name, and then she popped up because she was talking about somebody, I guess, had said that she, sounds like Andrew Tate. And so that's the reason why I followed her. But she makes some good points. I don't agree with everything she says. I don't agree with everything Candace Owens says. I didn't agree with everything Kevin Samuels said. I don't agree with everybody, but she has some good points. I mean, and most of the people that I follow on YouTube, I follow probably the same amount of black and white. So it never dawned on me the race thing. It never dawned on me that she was white. It just dawned on me she was dropping knowledge. And I thought she was talking to white men. I had no idea her audience was all black.
Well, I don't think all black, but it sounds like it's the majority of black. And Tamiko says that you draw back a nub if you try to, say anything about her with black men. And see, to me, that is very problematic that black men are lining up to defend a white woman who and I don't want to label her, but it sounds like if she's taking Kevin Samuels' talking points, it sounds like she's going hard in the paint against the ladies. I don't know. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. And when I open up the link, y'all can surely come on here and educate me. Black America, how you doing? He says, who's following a white woman? Well, it sounds like there's a lot of brothers that is doing that. So it's just kind of what I heard, right?
I mean, but let me ask you this. What is wrong with being a black man and following her? I mean, that's the point I'm missing. What's the problem, though? If she's dropping, like, there's no one else in that space. Like, and I found her by looking for an Andrew Tate replacement because he had been canceled all over the fucking place. So I was trying to find his talking points, and she's the only person I could find that was talking like him. And there's a couple of people I follow. Officer Tatum, he's a black conservative. So I'm like, that's how I followed her. I never thought about her race, that she was a white woman. And I guess when do we get to the point where if somebody dropping knowledge, the color of their skin doesn't matter, because that's the shit they did to us and do to us, in my opinion. But I'm just one dude.
Well, Sister Eunice says
sometimes I ain't even here.
Right. Sister Eunice says, I think she has some valid points in regards to so-called modern women thinking she needs to leave it at that. Where she's going wrong to me is she's stepping too far into the black community issues. And let me ask y'all black men this, and Walter, I'm gonna ask you too. I mean, not saying that you're not a black man. Would y'all follow a white woman into a dark alley?
I don't know what's that got to do with.
Would you?
I would follow nobody into no alley.
But specifically a white woman. You as a black man, would you follow her into a dark alley?
And do what though?
Nothing. You just go behind her.
Oh, you talking about the Emmett Till shit, like follow?
I'm just saying. So why would you follow her on the internet?
Oh, she's not taking me to an alley. I mean,
or is she?
So, like, here's again. I follow people based on their information. I follow a lot of white men on Twitter, Instagram, a lot of black men on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. I follow people of all races. I've never thought about the color of their skin. It's kind of like when I was in school, if the teacher was making sense, it didn't matter what color she was. But I mean, if you want to make it about race, I mean, and all this is doing really is blowing her shit up. She's going to be at 2 million followers next week because black people, we have a habit of we get pissed about something and then we blow them up. Like, look what we did to Vanilla Ice. Nobody knew what the fuck Vanilla Ice was. You know what I'm saying? Boom. He's a rock star. You know what I'm saying? You got a Ninja Turtle movie. We do that. We blow up. I mean, like, And here's the other thing too. If people are listening to her, like I have never heard her talk about black issues, so this is new. So I'm really speaking from a position of darkness because I never heard her talk about black issues. I just heard her say these hoes and break down the modern woman. I went, oh, that makes sense to me because that's how most men I know feel.
And Tamika says, Demetra, I love your channel, but I pray you don't get shut down because Jason Black went in on her and he might get shut down. The Black Manosphere welcome her in with golden open arms. She co-rules now. Down. Well, what did he say about her? Because I'm just asking questions, and if you can't ask questions about a white woman, then it kind of proves the point that she the queen of somebody.
But I think the issue is her color. We're making it about the color of her skin. If she was a Mexican woman or a black woman, would it matter? Because we should be able to go in each other's lane. I hear black people, we talk about white issues all the time. I don't know. I think if we lead with color, then we lose a lot of shit. I mean,
well, there's a lot of people here saying that she is pandering, but really heavily to black men. And so I'm asking, why are y'all falling for that? Do y'all need a white woman to tell y'all how to be in relationships? Are all the black people? You got your black daddies, you got your black granddaddies.
Well, first of all, a lot of black men date white women. And so that I could see, in my opinion, she's coming from a woman's point of view. And you don't hear a lot of people talking like that to women. So I don't care what color if she was purple, dropping knowledge. If she was on Star Trek sitting behind Captain Kirk dropping knowledge, I would listen to her. But then I think a lot of black men, I don't know if you are ready for this, are becoming more conservative.
Do you see what No Doubt said?
What's that?
White men would not allow her to critique them. She out of pocket. So with that, why y'all allowing her to critique y'all?
I've never heard her talk about black men. This is the first time hearing about her talking about. I've never heard her talk about black people, so I don't watch her show for that. And I watch her shorts. I've never watched the video of hers. I just watch her shorts, her 60-second clips. So I don't know who she's talking to. I just thought she was talking to women.
Hello, Alexander. He says there's plenty of I think he meant black women who speak positively about black men. Oh, yes. And I'm one of them.
And I follow a lot of them too. But I guess here's my other issue. How come they are not as famous as she is? Because I follow a lot of black women who have these conversations. Black women be eating their asses up, though. I can tell you that. But I follow a lot of black women that make these points. But no one knows, why is this woman bigger than the sisters? If black people were following these sisters like I follow them, they should have 1 million followers too. So, I don't know. We can't follow the chick and then keep playing that. Do we want somebody else to take her spot? Is there somebody else?
I ain't following no white woman telling me to do nothing. That's on my mama, R.I.P. I don't need no white woman to tell me nothing about me or how to be in relationship with nobody that look like me at all. So, and if she grifting, she grifting. You know what I mean? So even if she grifting off of Andrew Tate or Kevin Samuels, I still want a brother. You told me, she's dropping knowledge.
Brothers say that though. I haven't seen a brother step up and take this role.
Well, I know this guy who was, supposed to be Kevin's friend. He, was trying to do it. I don't know why his following is not large. So it's like, I don't know
how his following will grow. Attacking this woman.
I don't think he's a. See, this is the thing, though, and I think this is where we getting it wrong. We keep using the word attack. Ain't nobody attacking her. We're asking questions.
I'm saying, but that isn't attack. I'm saying if like somebody white said, why are you white people following this black man? That would be an attack to me. And it happens to us all the time.
And Kim makes a good point. What about her own community? Why does she have a legion of people in her own community? They need help. Like, when did she become the spokesperson to? I bet you if I go on any of Minister Farrakhan's accounts, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, I bet you he don't have 1 million followers of black men listening to what he's saying. So I'm asking, I want somebody, and may I open up the link when I clear this comment section? I want to know, why is it that she has all the followers of black men and the minister don't have 1 million followers nowhere.
Do we know? Well, that's not a problem. That's not a problem with white people. That's a problem with black people.
I know, though.
The minister, because I follow him, and I'm not even Muslim. And I was married to a white woman for 10 years, and I follow the minister. You know, so I follow him, and there's millions and millions of black people.
All these brothers said they would not follow a white woman into a dark alley.
I wouldn't follow a white woman into a dark alley.
Rain said that.
I mean, that's handcuffs and crucifixion. I mean, why would you do that?
Brother Reggie crazy talking about I don't follow him into the grocery store. Somebody wants to sell it. A Pam said you would do it.
It depends what was in the alley. No. I've been in some foreign countries. They ain't white though.
Hey Thunder, how you doing?
Colombian alleys.
And Tamiko says Donovan Sharp is a fierce protector. I don't even know who he is, but Just Pearly Things, Obsidian, Mamiya Ali has 2 videos. She posted protecting. I think posted protecting Just Pearly Things. I tell you, Just Pearly Things is heavily protected by the black manosphere. You cannot touch her.
See, this is news to me. I never heard this part.
Well, I mean, you know
that you can't touch her. But here's I can play the other side. If men feel like she is dropping knowledge, and it's because I listen to her shorts, and most of the stuff she says makes sense to me. I go, that makes sense to me when she said that these modern women want all these things, man, this money, they want him to be respectable, but then they want to be a freak. They want to be a hoe. You go to their Instagram account and they butt naked, but talking about I need a man that's gonna come home with Christian values. That made sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, shit, that she made a good point. So I follow her, just like I follow everybody else that makes good points.
And Jerome, can I see your face before I put you up on a big screen, if you don't mind me asking? All right, I got you. I'm gonna put you up here, but I'm gonna mute you. Give me 1 second. Let me clear these comments really quick. I can see you, but I can't see you, but that's cool.
Well, I thought that was a picture or something.
No, it's a person. So there you go.
That looks like
I got you. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me clear the comment section really quick. All right, so okay, so Black America said people like her content. Okay, and Ebony, how you doing? Says exactly what the hell? Why are they so gullible? And Eunice says that's not true. There are plenty of Black women platforms that are talking about being good wives. Most of them are married or have been married. Crimson Cure is an excellent example. Yes, I've heard a lot about her stuff. I haven't really watched her stuff much, but Donovan tells me about her a lot. And T Living Life, how you doing? Says, what woman's point of view? She's not from our community, period. Right? And GTT says she's a white supremacist. She was exposed by the Black Authority. Is that the one they're trying to shut his channel down? Tamiko says the majority of the people on her show are Black. You need to watch Jason Black's video he posted 2 days ago about Just Pearly Things. She sided with a white supremacist about slavery and the Holocaust, and she downplayed both. Oh, wow. Y'all have to check that out. All right, so I'm going to skip down just a little bit so I can catch up and I can let Brother Jerome speak. And Thunder says, seems like every time something or someone is in the brother's corner, person will remain unnamed, always will find a problem with it. But if she was bashing brothers, there would be no problem. I would have a problem with that, but it's actually brothers that's making this, making it an issue. Not me. I see a lot of brothers that's bringing this up. And Dennis Sperling was one of them. Mike 4282 says she's on the racist tip. Brother Jason Black showed the clips the other day. Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out. All right, let's see who else came on here. George, how you doing? Alexander says, I've never heard Pearly Things speak about Black people, but I do notice that most of her supporters are Black men. And why? Why? And Chris, how you doing? He says, okay, so y'all tell me about Jason Black. I'm going to have to check that out. All right. And so let's see. Everybody, Black American says for entertainment purposes. All right, so let me just get to somebody who hasn't came on yet, and then I can. Aaron, how you doing?
She got a lot of Black women on the show. One of the reasons that I kind of still follow her shorts because she's surrounded by Black women.
Why? And PGH Big Dog, how you doing? Says I wouldn't follow them into an elevator. Definitely not no elevator. Ray's crazy. Say I see Walter sitting in the back of Demetra. All right, so let me just see. Amethyst Stone, how you doing? It says watch Jason Black. Okay, I'm gonna check him out because y'all really selling it. And Pillow Glade, how you doing? It says Queen of the Brothers. Who is this Pearly Things? Well, I guess she's somebody who, from what Dennis Sperling and a lot of other people are saying, a lot of men, I should say, saying that she's jacking Kevin Samuel's talking points, and running away with them. And let's see here, Idiot Box Television. How you doing? Who is this lady? I guess she's, she got a lot of brothers that's following her. And Dark Titan, how you doing? Long time no see. And Thunder says that she's really an ally. She could be helpful. Just look at Rachel Dolezal. She was high up in the NAACP, and what got her caught up was the fact that she was actually doing her job and being not being corrupt like others. I would agree with that. And with her white parents too, they caught her up. And Kim says some of these men will follow, wed, provide, protect, as long as she's not black. Whoa! All right, Brother Jerome, what's going on with you?
That's actually not true.
I didn't say it.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I hear you. Yep. How you doing?
How you doing, Demetra?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm a big subscriber of yours. I've been watching your content for the betterment of about 2.5 years, and like Jason Black said, Just Pearly Things is no different than any other white supremacist. She started as a so-called comedian, which that failed. Then she went to the reaction videos. She tried to do reaction videos. That failed. So the best course of action to really blow her up was to attract a black audience, whether it was black women or black men. She couldn't attract black men because that would make her she would probably compromise her how can I say this? Her so-called integrity. Because she can't make videos talking about black men because and a bad light to agree, because a lot of black women will come to our defense, like it or not. That's the truth. So she took the manosphere talking points, them cowardly individuals who seek white acceptance, seek white validation. I would give some of them cowards credit. At least they're honest about what they're doing. At least they're honest about what they're doing. I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. I mean, after seeing, look what happened to Machine Carter, and Mississippi. Okay, think about it. We still haven't found out who did it. We already know they're white. So we got a lot of cowardly males in our black community. A lot of them. Too many of them.
We were talking about this earlier in the car. If I actually ain't gonna write that much. So we were talking about this. So many, we have so many. We were talking about somebody with the black person that was missing, or we were talking about somebody that was missing. We have so many black people in power, politicians, sheriffs, councilman, Chicago. She's not the mayor anymore, but we have black people in power, from the rooter to the tutor, from the community activists to up a few years ago, the president of the United States. Even the guy that's going after Donald Trump is a black man and a black woman. So black people have all this power. Why is it that we still have this chief complaint that we can't get justice as a black people? When you turn on the TV, somebody walks up to the podium to address the press, there's a good chance that they are a black man or woman. Why isn't that we still cannot get power, or we can't get help if we have so many of us in power? That's what baffles me.
Because black people don't have any power. Black people in this planet never had power. Name me a black leader in Africa in an African country that's a nuclear superpower. Kim Jong-un is the president of North Korea. He's a nuclear superpower. Xi Jinping from China is a nuclear superpower.
Yeah, Korea.
Macron from France. Macron from France is a nuclear superpower. Vladimir Putin is a nuclear superpower. The British royal family, they are a nuclear superpower. Even India, which is the second largest population in the world and one of the poorest countries, where the majority of them are very poor, they are a nuclear superpower. Pakistan is a nuclear superpower. Are they all black? No.
None of them are black.
None
But
of
that,
them
I mean,
black.
that was my complaint in the beginning. Is the Africans should have had more weapons? Maybe we should have been more violent or more. I don't know. I mean, like the people should have.
Please, all of our weapons were given to France, given to Pakistan, given to China, given to Saudi Arabia, given to England, and yours truly, America. What did they all have in common? They are still in the African continent, still raping our brethren over there for their resources. So when I look at the so-called manosphere / passport bro / SYSBM / MGTOW, these black men who's supposed to step up, and I'm looking at them on YouTube spending more than 90% of their time talking about women. They can't even, I came to the conclusion that they can't even think past their dick. We got a potential World War III around the corner, and we got males with the same skin color, the same melanin as me, who can't think past their dicks. And I'm supposed to take these guys seriously?
Yeah, that part.
Vladimir Putin don't conquer more than 30% of the Ukraine. I'm supposed to take these niggas seriously? Are you for real?
Well, yeah, we need.
I don't know.
I mean, that's black people responsible for a lot of that, because we voted for Joe Biden and we continue to vote for these people on the left and we get nothing from it. Matter of fact, black people were better under Donald Trump than we are right now. Matter of fact, Joe Biden
that is true.
President,
but
vice president, and I ain't heard him say shit about black nothing.
He's never going to do it. Demetra, I just saw the chat. South Africa is a nuclear superpower. South Africa is ruled by France. It's ruled by the Netherlands. It's ruled by the English. All their resources are given to them, are being raped from them. So are they utilizing the nuclear superpower? When's the last president that declared to the world how nuclear super powerful they were? You can't say Nelson, because Nelson Mandela was already broken.
Yeah,
Pre-Rwandan genocide. So what power are you talking about? South Africa is highly segregated. South Africa is a majority black country with a small white population, and they rule their government.
Yeah, I was saying in the beginning, the Africans, it would have been nice if they would have had more weaponry. You know, like we see the fantasy, the Woman King, Wakanda, whatever the shit is. You know, we had half those weapons, we wouldn't probably be having this conversation.
When you have the mindset of believing, when you have the mindset of believing that the white man is God, which you can see in the churches, which you can see in the TVs, which you can see in the billboards, going the betterment of over 250 years, the very thought process of utilizing a nuclear ornament is an afterthought. Niggas will actually go to church first before even thinking about how to make a nuclear weapon. And like I said, the manosphere is a prime example. The manosphere was originally created by white men. It was deliberately given to black men because white men never fucking needed it in the first place. You had black men in the last 6.5 to 7 years spending over 90% of their time with 3-hour live streams talking about black women. No code of conduct. I can't even name those same black men getting on code with each other. Because if Donald Trump, who's technically supposed to get arrested in New York yesterday, but obviously that was a fluke, can say to the United States population that he has a rally coming up in Atlanta, Georgia, and these so-called cowardly black men from the manosphere will say that they have a rally coming up in the same area in Atlanta, Georgia, and I happen to be over there, what venue I'm going to go?
I wouldn't go to neither one.
I'm just going to go to the Donald Trump rally just to be petty.
I wouldn't go to the Trump rally because of those people be riled up. And I wouldn't go listen to the brother either if he's on the left of liberals, because all they talking about is rights and why we ain't got shit. That's so I wouldn't go to either rally personally.
But that's our fault. 2020 was the pinnacle year for Black people. It was up to us to set a standard for the new generation. What did we do? We compromised with the same mother effing people that wrote that wrote laws against us, hate crime laws against us, denied of our civil rights and human rights. Why would you vote for the same people who were the main reason why Black people was out in the streets in 2020 in the first place? Why would you do that?
Yeah, that's a problem. Man. That's something we need to address. I can tell you what I was doing in 2020 is I was buying real estate. Matter of fact, we was doing the war zone, and that's why my black ass is sitting here, because in 2020 I started doing the stock option thing, teaching Black people how to buy stocks, buy real estate, and do this and do that. And man, I'll tell you, I've been about it all the time. Trying to get Black people to get into the investment world is like a one-legged man kicking ass. It is complicated and almost impossible.
Let me get Black.
It is almost impossible.
Let me get Black America. What's going on with you?
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. How's it doing?
It's going well. How about yourself?
It is. It's cold here in Vegas. It's still trying to warm up. Okay, so first topic was Just Pearly Things. Demetra, you really got to look at her content before you pass judgment. It's not that she's talking about so much Black issues. She's talking about, in general, relationships. And to be honest with you, Black women and men are mostly the ones who are having problems with their relationships because of the behaviors of Black women. And she just points them out. So that's why there's a lot of Black people following the little ugly white girl.
Oh, I just want to say this. I ain't call all that. I'm asking questions, but Black America, why is it that you need a white woman to tell you? I mute your mic just a second. So
exactly.
Why you need a white woman to tell you, or anybody? Why do we need a white woman to tell us how to get along with each other?
Exactly.
I don't think
exactly. She's white.
She's not telling people how to get along. She's pointing out the discrepancies and the bad behaviors of said people. Hold on, brother. For one thing, you kind of got an accent. I don't even know if you American
wait.
at this point.
So
hold. Yes, miss.
We're not gonna do that. Everybody is welcome here. We are having a conversation. But go ahead. What was you saying?
Me or him?
You. What was you saying?
Well, she's pointing out the discrepancies and what's going on in the communities. It has to do with modern women. It doesn't have anything to do with Black or white. She has white girls on there that's on OnlyFans just as well as she'll have Brittany Renner on there doing talking to her, and she's pointing out the discrepancies. It's just bad that Black women in our country have a lot of buffoonery going on, and she's pointing those things out. I just say, look at her content, like look at a whole show. It's kind of like women that say they hate Kevin Samuels, and then they end up looking at a whole show instead of a clip, and they have kind of a mind change to it.
Okay, so and hello to everybody that came on here. I do a lot of reading, and this is, if y'all haven't never heard of it, The Message to the Black Man in America. On page 58, it's labeled The Black Woman. Okay, in the first paragraph, it says the woman is man's field to produce his nation. If he does not keep the enemy out of his field, he won't produce a good nation. So who is the enemy that he is speaking of? Well, I want to go ahead and just say it's probably the white woman, right? And so while Miss Pearly Things is, pointing out the discrepancies and the issues within the Black community, does she also put her ancestors on the hook for how Black men and women learn to deal with each other. See, we weren't dealing with each other like this when we were over in the motherland or before the colonizer came into contact with us. They taught us this behavior. And as Brother Jerome said, I believe it was Jerome, he says the manosphere was something of the white man, and he gave it to y'all to further continue to divide the Black community. And listen, I know the sisters that's the best in talking about they want to get away from the Black man. They ain't no better either. Both of them are just as guilty of dividing the Black community. But when Miss Pearly Things is talking about what Black men and women need to do and pointing out the discrepancies, she better put her ancestors on the hook and talk about the historical context as to why Black men and women in America operate the way we do. As the messenger said, and as Farrakhan said, and as even James Baldwin said, we didn't create the N-word, but we act like it. You know who created the N-word? It was her ancestors. So unless she talking like that, I don't need to hear nothing she got to say.
Exactly. It's rinse, wash, and repeat. Rinse, wash, and repeat. Have we not learned from Gloria Steinem? She admitted that she was a CIA agent. And by the way, Brother Black America, I'm half Jamaican, half Black American. So you get my accent, which I don't believe I never had an accent, but hey, if you hear an accent, I'm half Jamaican, half Black American. You know, but like I said before, we haven't learned from Gloria Steinem. At the end of the day, she is no ally to us. She is not no ally to us. She's pretty much doing the same thing Gloria Steinem did. The only difference is she's doing it to the Black men.
Yeah.
As Gloria Steinem did to the Black woman.
If she's talking about slavery and shit, then that's not her topic. You know, she's out of pocket for that. I mean, nobody should be talking about slavery. Actually, no one should be talking about slavery anymore. We should be trying to fix that shit like the shit we was doing today.
Reparations.
Reparations, 1, I'm waiting on my check. 2, but in the meantime, in between time, and after that time, I'm gonna keep doing what we were doing today. Here's my complaint with us. 1, and this is news to me. I didn't realize Pearly Things was even talking to Black women. I just noticed she had a lot of Black women on her show and her panel. So I'm like, damn, okay, she's down with us, whatever. That's just what I thought it was. I never looked into it further than that because I don't never watch the whole show. But what if we, man, I don't know why this is so tough of a subject for Black people, is if we just start focusing on the money. Like today we drove through 5th Ward. And man, and we drove through, and my sister pointed out, all these churches, 3-4 churches, you could stand in one spot and see 4 steeples at the same time. Every other house is tore down, except for the ones being rebuilt, which people say those are being gentrified. I don't know if they're all being gentrified. But like, we talk about white and Black so much, and gentrification is white people moving in, but who's selling them the shit in the first place? Who made this Pearly chick the authoritative person on Black relationships? Now, who gave her that power in the first place? Because it's the first time I'm hearing about it ever.
I'm just gonna put this up, and because I know sometimes y'all be mad at me talking about Demetra, hate the manosphere. I don't hate the manosphere. I don't love it either. Just like I don't like the divestor sphere, whatever they call it. That's Black women talking about they ain't messing with Black men.
Give me a Mexican man.
All of that. I don't love any of it. What I do love is the unity of Black people. That's what I love. But I'm just putting this up here because I've seen this question. And I've seen quite a few other questions come up about her. So I'm like, all right, well, we talked about it once before, but I really want to ask the question as to why does she have such a large Black male following? And Black American Walter, y'all kind of spoke to it a little bit.
And what is the manosphere? That's
hi, Sister O.
Yeah, you have to educate me. I don't know what the manosphere is. Like, what is that in 10 seconds?
Black America, you want to define that, or Jerome?
I can. So the Black manosphere is where us Black men that are like-minded, not the hoteps, because you do have what we call the hoteps, as far as I know you speak a lot about the Muslims or the Hebrew Israelites and things of that nature. not them, because all Black Americans are not down with the Nation of Islam or the Hebrew Israelites. We don't see things the same way. Black America is a completely subdivided culture from the Muslims and from the Hebrew Israelites. And we have our own. That's why, I do apologize to the brother, but if you are not a Black American and didn't grow up in a neighborhood or in a ghetto, you cannot comment onto things that are happening in our communities, because you may be a part of our community, but you are not of our community. It's two very different things.
But Black America, let me say this.
Hold on. Let me interject.
Okay.
Black America, I was born in America. I was raised in America. My father's side of my family traces back to 1787. I got the paperwork. As far as my mother's side of the family, my great-grandmother is from Jamaica. My great-grandmother is from Jamaica. So for me not to be a part of this community is pretty much a moot jest to come from you, no disrespect, because you don't know me personally, sir.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not, that's what I'm saying, but that's not the way it works, okay? So your father is part of America. Barack Hussein's father was from Africa. His mama was white, yet still Black people called him Black. I didn't consider him Black. I don't consider Kamala Harris Black. Somebody was from Jamaica and her mother was Indian, like Middle Eastern Indian.
And my grandfather was identified as Negro.
But let me say this.
My father was identified as colored.
But let me say this.
But that's all what people think of us. As far as distinction in culture goes,
yeah,
I got the paperwork to prove it.
But let me say this. Let me say this.
Yeah, then let's
and then I want to get to sister. I purposely do not get into the whole FBA, ADOS, and all this other stuff conversation, because it can be a little divisive. And Brother Jerome, I don't want you to ever feel like you need to prove who you are to other Black people. And what we end up doing is, and somehow I might be speaking over some of y'all's head because this is a little bit dated. It's even before my time. They used to do what they call brown paper bag testing, right? We used to do that to each other. If you was darker than that paper bag, then you couldn't date my son, or we didn't want nothing to do with you, or you too Black type of thing, right? But now what we start to do is almost like reverse paper bag testing. You ain't Black enough. Well, we don't know where you from. And it's like, so what we're doing in essence is what the oppressor is doing. And, I envision him sitting back and like, I ain't got to do nothing. I got them down there fighting with each other. Oh, you from Africa, you from Jamaica, you ain't from Queens, and it's like, we're doing your job.
Well, Sister Demetra, I understand where he's coming from, and all for FBA. Their main goal is to get what's rightfully owed to them. So, and I support reparations on both sides. And as far as I'm concerned, I support reparations of what's due for the African continent. Okay, I'm an equal opportunist when it comes to Black people all over the world. So I will always support my people no matter what. Okay, no matter how much you judge me. I don't know you personally.
Yeah,
I don't know you personally. I could care less.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the end game is to get what's owed to Black people. In this particular case, the foundational Black Americans in this country.
Right, and this is where we should stay. This is the topic we need to stay in. How can we improve the race? And me, I'm the finance guy, so everything else is like blah to me. And I've been criticized growing up. I don't care enough about Black issues, and I do, because my sister would tell you, I can be just as militant as the next person when I need to be. And sometimes I can go way overboard and I have to catch myself. So, and with me and my sister too, we were raised in a white community. We grew up, I was the only Black kid in my class most of the time growing up. You know what I'm saying? I remember my father pulling me to the side, because we used to collect pictures of, all the girls, we trade pictures, and I had all these white women in my wallet. And he goes, "What's with all these white women in your wallet?" I said, "Those are the only girls in my class. And I got one Black girl at the school, and she do not like me. for the same reason we talking, because everybody's trying to get me and her to date because we black, which is insane. That because we black, we should date without even knowing if we like each other. Or we just because we're the same color. Well, I'm coming from a 7, 8, 9-year-old.
Right, but I'm just saying, and Sister O, I'm gonna give you the floor. We bears, they date each other. They don't need to qualify each other. But Sister O, how you doing?
Shalom, sister.
Shalom.
Great. Shalom, brother. Shalom, man. On the panel. Thank you for having me up on Wisdom Talk Network channel. Sister Demetra, shouts out to the Most High, first of all, and shouts out to Africa News Channel Diaspora. I love y'all. Y'all be doing that awesome work. So I had to put props up to that. Yes. And love that fro you be rocking too, sis. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Yes. Now in regards to the pearly, the other nations of people, I don't know much of whom y'all are speaking on, but as a people, I hear a lot of our men and some women, but I hear a lot of our men state that the Black woman this, the Black woman that. And I'm just going to show a pamphlet. This is a book that I have read, and how we were divided, the Willie Lynch letter, how we were divided, how our family and structure was broken and torn down. We was division. I mean, you know, how the other nations of people divided us, and you know, and it's no way around the word of the Most High as to what happened to us out of our disobedience. But I don't want to go there, but it's there. It's ordered with us. And how is it possible anywhere for another nation of people to teach us when we are the creation of the creator, the being, and with the Black American and the African American? Those are bywords and proverbs that, you know, that are labeled to us, that are put on us. But at the end of the day, that the very enemy of the others have explained and expressed to us with their documentaries, their lesson, their messages, that one drop of our DNA, our blood mixed with anybody, they see us all as the N-word, okay, across the board. So you can be African American, Jamaican, Indian, Native, however, we're all still seen as the N-word to these people. And segregation, oh my God, we need that. We need that, because these other nations of the others, they continuously cause division. We have to govern ourselves. I'm just speaking on some points that I heard with the different conversations going on here. And now, as far as the government and politics side, come on, voting. Now, I voted. My last time was voting was with Barack Obama. I didn't vote because doing the watching and, you know, the studying and the research and seeing as to nothing has happened for us. I mean, nothing. If we're not building it and creating it our own and governing it ourselves, to think that those politicians that they select, which they deceive us to think that we elected, but they select and put up in there, and that they do nothing for us, how do we continue to think that we're going to thrive, and especially from the others of the other nation? That ain't gonna work.
And let me actually ask a question. And I think that's Brother Phil. How you doing? I think he's back in Babylon. But he asked an excellent question. You have Crimson Cured, she's a Black woman. You have Chantel Simone, she's a Black woman. Shez Sade, Danica Marie, those are all sisters. Why don't they have 1 million followers? And he's right. They do support the Black men. I mean, they've even been called pick-me's and, you know, all kind of other derogatory names for really sticking up for Black men. But why don't they have 1 million Black men following them? And I know they're really demonstrative when it comes to Black men and really big up in Black men. So I need to know the answer to that too.
Hey,
Self-hatred.
I never
it's
heard
called.
of it.
It's anecdotal. It's anecdotal.
The Crimson
See,
Cured,
all right.
Go ahead.
So it's anecdotal. See, most Black men, and truth be told, it's the doggone truth. Most Black men can't get over the fact that the black woman that they were with in the relationship done them dirty to a degree. it's a sort of a betrayal. So, in that sense, in retrospect, they will pick. God, and this white woman's not even that attractive. I understand if she was attractive, then okay, then you got a point there. No,
Can we pause? Can we pause for 1 second? Can we pause for 1 second?
Sure.
Brother, you just said that the black women did them dirty. Don't come on here talking about these good black women that Demetra be talking about all the time. See, that's what I'm talking about, Demetra. Black women, I don't know which ones you deal with, but the ones that we as men have to deal with, they pretty nasty. Proceed, young man.
Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Let me address this, Black America. As I said this 2 weeks ago, I'm beginning to really love you. But now that I love you, I kind of put your feet on the coals just a little bit. Didn't you say that you got 16 kids last Sunday?
I love black women. I ain't gonna lie. I love all black women. I told a guy the other day, I have never even stopped to pull over to help a white woman change a tire or see what's wrong with her car. But if it's a black woman, I'm pulling over because that's me.
Okay, but answer my question. You say you got 16 beautiful children, right?
All of them ain't beautiful, but yeah, I got children.
Are most of those by black women?
I have never even held the hand of another race of woman.
Right. So you said we ain't, we problematic. I mean, might you have anything to do with that? Just a little bit?
No.
So now, how many, if you don't mind me asking, you can tell me none of my business, how many baby mamas entail with those 16 children?
It's not quite 16, but it is 1, 2, 3.
You got a lot of kids.
3.
So 3 baby mamas with 16 children?
I said it's not quite 16. I said I had a lot of kids. I guess you the one who came up with the 16.
Nah, brother, the Memorex is forever. You said 16 children last Sunday. I could go get the tape. But the point that I'm making is not even about the children. It's about you saying that black women are problematic, but you have had 16 children with black women. So I'm saying, and what role did you play in that? Because you didn't are you with any of those mamas? Because you said you was going to Brazil to find you a 30-year-old. So I'm assuming the answer is no. So out of all those black women you was with, you didn't find one that was suitable?
No.
But she was suitable enough for you to plant what was very precious, and that's a baby into her. So it's not making sense.
That's for those that believe that life isn't cheap. I believe that life is cheap. A baby is just something you have and you raise and you spend money for. It's not saying that kids aren't precious, but it's something that happens. And I love women.
That way.
I have a question. Well, how is it that you can say, brother, that the black woman is derogatory? I mean, how can you say that she is out the box? I mean, if a brother is presenting himself in this type of way because the children need a structure of a man, the mother, and that child in the home to keep order, to keep knowledge, understanding, and teaching and grooming the children. What deterred you from those black women?
Basically their attitudes and the way that they acted. Okay, so I'm let me give you some background. Former drug dealer, gang banger, and have been to prison. But let me tell you something also. Every child that I have fathered and raised have all graduated high school, have all went to either the military or college. A few of them are married now, and none of them are dead. So I think, I did a damn bang up job.
You did an amazing job,
along with their help. I did a pretty bang up job.
Yeah.
So let me ask
you, sir.
So have the black man been damaged as the black woman been damaged?
No, because we are not. So I want to ask you a question. Who's more susceptible to things?
We're most successful.
Expound. Can you go a little bit further with that?
Bigger, more.
Okay, who's on Instagram and who's on TV and who's watching shows like Love and Hip Hop and T-Boy and things like that?
Well, that's an easy answer. So that's an easy answer. The biggest audience in those type of smut TV shows in reality, horrendous acts is black women. That's just that's the biggest audience. Okay.
Okay, so
sir, but let me finish. Don't try to deny that most black men don't watch these shows with their women, because at the end of the day, the relationship / marriages in the black community is over 90%. So they're definitely going to be watching the shows. My last ex, I watched Love with her. So I'm an example.
Yeah.
So I don't think you understand what I'm saying, brother. It's not like you would go seek that stuff out. If you watching it with your chick and it's a chick flick, if you go watch the Titanic with your girl, I'm not gonna hold that against you. But if you and your homeboy go watch the Titanic or Love Seeking Seattle or something like that, then you are very suspect. What I'm saying is, we as men are not susceptible to those things.
Exactly, we're not susceptible to those things, sir.
I haven't seen that movie yet. Is it good?
Our vibing with our woman will make us susceptible to watch those type of programming. I never liked any of the shows, man. I started watching those shows after 2010. That's when it came out. I couldn't even bear the first 5 episodes.
I think regardless.
But unfortunately, a lot of black women that I know personally still watches these shows.
Well,
us as men, as black men, we don't have the power to convince them not to.
Okay, but let me say this.
You don't have the power. I bet none of my broads watch any of that stuff when I'm around.
Hey, I'm speaking in general, sir.
Come out. Hold on. So obviously we can go back and forth, and y'all know that for every example of stuff y'all say black women watch, I can find the stuff that black men watch, because 50 Cent got some of the hottest shows on TV, and that's a black man, and that content, I would say, it's probably geared more toward black men than it is anybody. The point is, I ain't gonna lie to kick it. BMF is my show. I love BMF. However, I inculcate a lot of other good information. So I'm not just sitting up watching that and thinking, oh, this is real life and all this other stuff. Black
Charlie Wilson. Charlie Wilson.
You're an educated woman. You are very small fraction of a percentage of what's in our community.
I beg to differ. And I keep saying this. We're on the internet a lot, and we think the fraction of people we see on the internet speaks for everybody. There's a lot of good black men and women that are not on the internet. They're not partaking in all that other stuff. So it's like, if we're just going off of the ratchetness and the ray and pookiness that we see on the internet, then that's what our world is comprised of, and we think that's life. But I would tell you, I don't know anybody, well, maybe 2, 3 people like that. Just to keep it real, right? That act like that on a regular basis. I don't. Most black men and women I know, they're doing something. They smart. They not on the low level, low hanging fruit type of people. If that makes any sense. Now, of course, we know on these TV shows and on the internet, they gonna do it, tenfold to make it, because they know what draws us in, right? Now, let's keep, for example, I got a little over 13,000 followers, and I've been doing this for a very long time, right? Now, imagine I come back on here next week, and I got some low-hanging fruit content. I got my blouse all the way down to here, and y'all probably won't want to see that because I'm 51. But the point that I'm making is, if I was doing that kind of stuff, my subscription would just go. It would go over the top, right?
And that's the point. And that's the point I'm trying to make, Demetra. You see, we have a coalition of black men and the manosphere and YouTube in general. You guys can create a solid, solidified coalition of solidarity to reciprocate that same energy outside of the community. Because the last time I checked, we still got Pookies and Ray Ray still selling drugs to kids and still terrorizing the community. How you got this so-called coalition that we see on the internet, particularly on YouTube, and you're not reciprocating the same energy? Because it's all been a facade. You're not practicing what you're preaching.
Yeah,
I don't respect preachers. I stopped going to the church since 2007, and I never will ever again. And every single freaking time somebody introduces me to a damn church, I get proven right by these low-light pastors, Amos Wilson, that
Man, let me ask you a question. Here's something that I think about all the time. And see, as a black man, you have to be able to do two things. To do one, in order to be, like, let's say I just wanted to go out and get money and build wealth. As a black man, I have to get permission or go back to the black community and address our issues before I make a penny. I don't care what we talk about, what the topic is, what we do. If it's buying a house building, if it's talking about this chick, or if it's talking about the Fifth Ward, the conversation always comes back to this: black people battling each other versus what if we can, and I think this is a lot of black struggle for black men, and they won't say it, so I'll just go out and say it. We want to just go out and get money, build wealth, protect our family. We don't want to keep dealing with the race shit. Like me, I've dated a bunch of black women, and in my opinion, I have problems with all women from all races. I've dated Asian women, and they are crazier than black women. I've never had a sister say to me what Asian women have said to me. So I think all women are nuts, in my opinion. And I think from Black America's standpoint, I think because he's only dealt with black women, he's saying black women are shit or whatever he's saying. But if he dated white women or Mexican, he would be saying, oh shit, they crazy too. I think the relationship has just been destroyed by you, social media, the media. The relationship is a thing of the past. But it will be to get the money.
The relationship has been on a level of dependency, people. It's based on a level of dependency, okay? Like the children need their parents, obviously, okay? And as black men and black women, we need each other. We need to depend on one another. What are our attributes? What can we provide, not only in the household, but for our community? The thing is that we don't know how to get in the same page when it comes to conversating. We always want to bicker with each other over disagreements. We can do that to a degree, but we have to put our community first. The Asian community not only was able to do that multiple times to our face, they raised money for a murderer.
Okay, case in point, you can't do it without the money. The problem black people have is we don't go get the money first. All those other races we talked about, and I'm not talking about the colonizer because they came over and robbed and steal, but I'm talking about everybody else. They get the money first. We were out today going through a black, what we consider a black neighborhood, the Fifth Ward, and it was Mexicans everywhere out selling, conchitas, bananas, selling fruits, building houses, hammering nails, carrying drywall.
And because black people hate education, which is why we don't know economics.
I don't necessarily agree with that because I know a lot of black people that do love education. I have a lot of wealthy black friends, but the problem is
that's a good point, sir. I'm gonna say it again. Just because you know a lot of black people that love education doesn't mean we as the collective actually love it. Dr. Claude Anderson dropped the Powernomics book over 25 years ago. Can you name me over 100 black men you know personally that read it and came to reciprocate it? It's the reciprocation. It's the practice. I could care less how many books you read. I've read a lot of books coming from our black scholars. But I believe I'm man enough to admit that I did not practice it in our community.
I just think black men that do well hesitate to speak on it because they got to go back and defend all the moves they've made without asking the race first. Like, for instance, I can tell you straight up, as being a financial planner, 99% of my clients were white, and 90% of my marketing went to black people. but still the majority of my clients ended up being white. And I had a brother pull me up and said, dude, you are going down a dangerous path trying to help our people. And I didn't really get it, but now I kind of see it because we got to go through all these other issues first. I mean, we went through the fifth ward today, and I did a show in 2020, 3 years ago, and I was told to stay my black ass out the fifth ward because it's dangerous. You don't want to come up in here. It's the fifth ward. And I go there today, I see white people walking their dogs. I almost hit a bunch of them today. Walking their dog through the black community. Like, and the crazy part is the black people are nice as hell. Almost every single black person today waved, spoke, which I have never seen, by the way, going through any community. Every single black person was like, hey, how you doing? Super friendly. I got out the car, talked to him. So the people were nice. So, but the point I'm making is I was told not to go there. So I went to the lake and bought a property up there, bought a lake house. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, if I could have took that money and went to Fifth Ward and bought 4 or 5 houses. 3 years ago, wasn't nobody up in the Fifth Ward trying to buy property. I mean, maybe the guy said it's been 4 years in the making. So it just started. Man, I went out and bought a house. Racist, whatever. All my neighbors are white. I'm on the lake, which is, I don't know why black people don't like water. That's a whole different subject. I think what I could have did in the Fifth Ward with all that money that I spent up at the lake. But a black dude told me not to go to the Fifth Ward. Matter of fact, because we was all on the show and it was going on and it got intense. It's like, in so many words, we're trying to save your life. But I got out the car today in the Fifth Ward and talked to everybody. And I'm watching brand new house go up to the shack and the black people living in the shack and they're building a brand new 3-story condo right next to them. $1 million condo with 4 or 5 units in it next to so they take $100,000 house, tear it down and build $1 million condo right next to the one house in the black, right in front of the blacks. That is, and when we get that right, all this other shit will disappear. I don't care what you say about Pearly Things. If she's exploiting the gap, yes, she probably is. Just like Grant Cardone said, 40% of my followers are black men. As is Patrick David, 40% of the people that follow him are black men. So, and I follow Kevin Samuels. I love Kevin Samuels, but black women ate his ass alive. And I don't see him doing it. I don't see them doing it to this chick.
Brother Don, what's going on with you, brother?
You know, I found out for the first time about Little Pearly Things yesterday because my brothers were destroying her. My brothers that are intelligent, my brothers that have some sense and have some self-respect were just demolishing her because she's nothing but a grifter. She's nothing but a grifter. And the thing about it is when you let those people talk long enough, they show you exactly who they are. Exactly. My brother, my nephew, Black Light Revolution 2, did a thing on her yesterday, and he was showing this interview she was having with Nick Winter and Adam 22. And let me tell you something. The anti-black racism slithered out of there like a snake across the room. You know what they were saying? It was atrocious. It was disgusting. And the thing about it is, this is the problem with white supremacists. They don't realize that they're white supremacists. Most of them. The out and out race soldier, he knows he's a race soldier. But the white supremacists really don't know that. And anybody that talks greasy the way that she was talking, I don't mess with nobody that messes with them. So when old boy from the Fear Factor came out and said what he said, when I found out that Willie Deep was supporting him and thought it was okay, I cut Willie's ass off. Okay? And Willie and we had some really good conversations just based on our common history. But I don't play that. If you condone white supremacy by any shape, form, or fashion, I can't mess with you. Because the deal is this: I know our history, and guess what? I'm Ivriam Yehudite, and any black person that's in this country whose ancestors came in on them ships, guess what you are too? That's prophecy being fulfilled. But see, what you need to know about prophecy is what's supposed to happen next. We are hated by every nation of the world, as it was prescribed. Why do you think all this stuff happens to black people? Why do you think Africa's in the shape it's in? The word said the Most High going to repay them because they stole his gold and his silver, which is us, and then they divided up his land. And see, you got all these little racists playing the game. This woman had 100,000 subscribers. After Kevin Samuels died, she straight up gaffeled his stuff and got some silly niggas to follow her. And that's why the organization boosted her up to over $1 million. So now she get paid over $1 million a year off these stupid niggas that she laughing at. You know what she said about her staff? You know what she said about her Nigerian staff? She said her Nigerian staff.
What is that?
I wish I could get my Africans over here. Talking about into the United States. No, she said my Africans.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
So
My Africans.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
and
She said,
Adam 22 is a straight up racist too. I forgot what he said. You don't even have to question Nick Fuentes. Oh, Adam 22?
Brother Don, do me a favor. When you get to that where it's a little bit more quiet, come on back in because we love to hear what you're saying. I heard what you're saying, but I think you're outside or something like that.
Oh, I'm in the car. I don't have my best headset on.
Okay. Yeah, when you get to
So I wanted to come on. So I'll come back on after I get home.
Okay.
Our people love the oppressor. Our people love the oppressor.
And
we love it. We love them so much.
and I don't know. You know what? I didn't see what she said, so I would really like to know what you guys are referring to, so I could see what she said. But I have a question. Okay, being that we're all black, none of you black people have ever been around white people that don't like black people, because I got a house in Pahrump on the vineyard, on an acre, a custom home, and I've had a house in Pahrump for over 20 years. And let me tell you something, none of them white people like black people when I first moved there. So you guys are, I really want to know the context of what was said in the little interview. But I don't know. That to me, once again, I'm going back to the Hotep thing. Niggas don't always do everything right. I apologize. I can say that.
Let me stop y'all real quick. If y'all can leave off the N word and that kind of stuff, y'all know how YouTube is.
Oh, okay. Can I say Negroes, black people, black Americans, our folks? Skin folk ain't always kinfolk. Okay, you will never hear a Guatemalan say that he's a Mexican, or an El Salvadorian say that he's Guatemalan or anything like that. Just because they speak the same or similar language and their skin tones are the same does not mean that they are the same. And they recognize their differences, and they actually have their own differences and their own opinions of it. It's only us hold on one second. It's only us as black Americans that say, hey, gay people, come on over here. Hey, transvestites, come on over here. Hey, Africans, hey, Jamaicans, hey, Puerto Ricans, hey, come on over here. And there's nothing wrong with it, but we have a specific, I can't say that word, set of issues that are integral to us only as black Americans.
All right. And then now, see, you should have let me cut you off when I want to cut you off. Because what you said is...
I'm sorry.
All right, no,
don't beat me.
I ain't gonna beat you. This is, I love you. Remember that I love you. Okay. But you say that we are accepting, of everybody and everybody's agenda. But yeah, when you first came on here, my dear brother, that I love so much, you kind of was taking up for the white woman and saying that she's pointing out the discrepancies in our community. So can I ask you, why is she different? Why should we accept her?
Why
Okay,
is she different?
the thing is, she is not saying this is what's happening in Black communities. She is saying between men and women relationships. Once again, I think you really need to look at her content. I'm not subscribed. I'm subscribed to you, Kevin Samuels, the lead attorney, and I just subscribed to a brother in Texas called the Medium Man. You need to check him out too, because he comes with all of the stats and statistics on things. So I'm not subscribed to her, but when her stuff comes across, I do watch her content. It is entertaining. When she had a debate against Hafiz. She says, "You done cut everybody off."
No, hold on a second. Hold on.
Jesus, what happened?
Sorry,
No,
I pressed the button. I'm sorry.
No. She says her content is for entertainment purposes. She said it out of her own mouth. So it's not she's saying, oh, this is what's happening with Black people and this is what's happening with Black women. She just pointing out certain things.
But it's Black men who's bigging her up. That's the issue I have personally. We turn around 360.
Right.
I'm gonna mute you real quick.
Yeah, is she addressing the Black issues, or is she talking about, because I've only seen her talk about men and women. I've never heard her talk about Black or white. So
I think the issue is the issue is
what's the issue? What's the problem?
She's got a legion of Black men that are following her and that are taking some sort of instruction, or they're getting knowledge from her. And as Black America said, and you kind of said too, she was saying some things. She was kind of kicking knowledge. And so what we're asking is, why is she the authority on the relationships, and why does she have so many Black men following her? And from what other people are saying, I don't know anything about this woman, so I'm just kind of piecing together what you guys are saying. She's single
because she's saying everything that Black men likes to hear. She's doing the same form. She's doing.
Come on, brother, say that.
She's doing the same formula that Kevin Samuels did. Even though I don't agree with most of what Kevin Samuels said, I still respect his approach to a degree. But at the end of the day, when we're post-pandemic, I mean, there was and around that time there was no any sort of means to make money except if you was on social media to a degree. So she took advantage, as well as Kevin. Kevin's no longer with us, and she's carrying the torch to a lot of Black men. Let's keep it above. We got a lot of hurt Black men in this country who don't have anybody to talk to a degree. They're not going to therapy, so they're going to use social media as a therapeutic outlet. And
I think most
as far as the pain that Black men are feeling, they feel to a certain degree that Black women are not helping to dumb down the pain, not helping to heal. So they're going to turn to another therapeutic accent. And that's this white supremacist broad who's not attractive, who basically told the whole world that she aligns herself with white supremacists. I mean, I saw this come 2 years ago. It's so easy to put the dots together. I mean, the men who are in pain don't want to put the dots together. They never want to put the dots together. The Black men never want to put the dots together unless it's too late.
Yeah, I mean, she's a white supremacist. She needs to be cut. I haven't seen that part. I don't really follow her that much. I follow so many people. I need to start deleting some folks. But let me ask you a question. The majority of the people that take advice from me financially are white people. So would that go the other way? Should I cut, and I'm trying to find a middle here. Should I tell them to stop taking advice from me, or supporting my business because I'm Black and they're white? I'm trying to, now if I go start talking about Debbie,
that's my point.
White women and
good point.
Women, then cut me loose. But what should I, because I know a lot of, Black businesses that are supported by all races. So I guess I'm trying to figure out what the issue is with her. Now, if she says something negative against black people, then she should get cut. I get it. There's no issue with that. No one should be allowed to do that. Matter of fact,
put it this way. Put it this way. Why are we so fixated on what she said or what she stands for? We already know what she stands for. I mean, we got black women getting their asses whooped in Chinese restaurants, beauty salons, nail salons.
But is that
beauty products and they still go to
the
stores?
What are those black women doing to garner those ass whippings though? Cause see, I'm like Dave Chappelle. I'm kind of a victim blame.
Always be doing something. Why we always have to be doing something? I mean, it's not doing something. Let's do a little.
I mean, there's no reason
go back
for
with
somebody to put their hands on
He looked at the white woman. Let's look at the brother. This young brother in college. I want to say is at HBCU. Him and some other guys. They went to this bar, and some other people went with them as well, right? So they all knew each other. And so this brother's in college, HBCU, and they go back. They leave the dorm. I'm not the dorm. They leave the bar, and they go to this hotel. So, and these are Caucasians that went to these hotels, and this brother life been taken from him for 20 years for a simple mutual kiss of the other people. Not people going to get it. These people do not love us. I mean, they out here about this dollar, and that's what they're going to do. And they're the infiltrators. They are the infiltrators, period. I don't care how you see it. And now, do we have some of those amongst us? Of course we do. We call those the knock, the with the C word. But then you got those of us that are the house word. Then those that are in the P word. Okay. So in other words, why are we receiving messages which are subliminal messages from these other people, and we can't receive from ourselves? Why? Because we have been taught self-hate. If you pick up that Willie Lynch little book and read it, it's not long. And read it.
Okay, I got a question.
How we've been light-skinned, been pit against the light-skinned, dark-skinned, against the dark-skinned. We have been divided.
I got a question. So you saying a young brother went to a hotel and kissed a white girl, and they beat him or killed him, or what happened? Oh, okay, so
they didn't kill him. She screamed when it went to court. It was taken to court, and so she screamed rape. And this brother got 20 years for that. A kiss.
So let me answer Walter's question. So you said that predominantly white people follow you. I'm gonna put you guys' mics on mute. White people follow you as far as financial advice, right?
The majority of my clients, since the day I started financial services, financial speeches, seminars, education, everything has been, the majority of my followers have been white people. I spend the majority of my marketing, my efforts chasing black people, getting them to listen to what I'm saying.
Is what you're doing divisive?
I'm talking about money.
Is it divisive?
It shouldn't be.
But it's not, right?
No, it shouldn't be divisive. I mean,
and
I buy real estate and invest.
I think that's where the issue is. We're also talking about, we're kind of really talking about apples and oranges in regards to content, because you have this white woman, which I don't know why a black man, I'm still confused on that. I'm just going to keep it. I don't know why a black man will follow a white woman to do anything. I don't know why you would, but it's not the same conversation.
I mean, I have an Indian doctor, for God's sake. I don't know if I follow an Indian.
Listen. But
no, I'm just trying to make the point. Though, what is she? No, don't do that. What is she doing wrong? No, I mean, I haven't heard her talk about black people.
Listen,
don't do that.
Okay, but can I just say something? Yeah, I know, but I think you're not getting the point.
But don't take him down,
sir. Listen, sir. Why do you just watch the interview with Just Pearly Things and Nick Fuentes and Adam 22 and Richard Spencer? Nick Fuentes and Adam 22 and Richard Spencer are both white supremacists. Just watch those two videos. It's on YouTube. Watch it on YouTube and then hit Demetra up. Why do we have to explain ourselves to you? No disrespect. When we have a whole social media panel where those videos actually exist. The videos actually exist. I got the video saved in my archive so I can study these white supremacists. and know who I'm dealing with.
But
I
see,
don't want to
maybe-
be a regime. I don't want to be a regime Carter. Even though I live in New York City, I don't want to be another regime
Are we
Carter.
spending too much time looking for the white supremacists for the issues? Because up until this moment,
You
when I
goddamn
walked
right.
out, and to
My head's on a swivel.
today, but I'm saying I have not heard about any of this until me and her walked in the door. It's the first time I ever heard of this issue.
I got one.
Regime Carter's mother. Regime
And-
Carter's mother had to identify his dismembered son. If you don't think that is a problem, which I don't want to accuse you of anything, then you need to do some research. Watch those 2 videos and come holler at Demetra.
But you know what I'm doing
Disrespect.
differently though?
I
Why
have
I
some-
don't
I have some
have
for
those-
you.
But here's why I don't know about all that stuff. Because I'm out trying to build wealth for me and my family, so we don't have to repeat this stuff over and over. A lot of these things I don't know about.
I respect you for doing what you're doing. My brother's also a real estate agent, but he has the decency and the brains enough to look at what's going on in his surroundings. We have to look at social media or the mainstream media to understand how these white supremacists operate. We are at war. There are no rules in the war. Get into it.
So when civil unrest hit the scene, how many of us are gonna run to Rebecca and Tom of our people? How many gonna run and join their sides?
Mr. Habib,
Would we rather
is a white supremacist.
Would we rather join
it's
our
fun.
people? Would we rather join our people or the other people? Who we rolling with?
I mean, we always want to be with our people.
Well, ma'am, that's a good question. That's a good question.
I don't believe in violence, but I will go with like-minded people. I'm not going just because they black don't mean I'm going over there with them. Just because they white or Mexican don't mean I'm going with them. They would have to be like-minded individuals.
I agree with you. But here's the thing.
But at the end of the day, I'm gonna trust my brother, my sister over. Okay, I would rather my brother, my sister, the harm to have
go with
them.
them too.
Really?
So,
and what they have been us continuously daily? Nah.
Okay, but so let me ask you this, so we can kind of talk about the money a little bit. Who is stopping us from buying our neighborhoods? Who is stopping us from building our wealth? Because this is Wealth Wednesdays, believe it or not.
Us.
Who is stopping us from doing it? Because I know, like when me and her were out today in the black community, I did not see a lot of us out working on the properties, out driving around like we were doing. So who's stopping us from going out and getting that money? Because this conversation is cool. We can talk about this all day, and it's on social media. It's all the time. Black this. You can spend all day
us
doing
to a degree. It's us to a degree. But then you have those who are in charge of things. Those who at the top, the elite that are in charge of things. It's us and those that are in charge. Do you remember the black family? I think it was a number of 20 families that went and brought this town. Where was it?
Georgia.
100. Yes, Georgia. 100 some acres. And did you see how the system was in place and in charge with those came against the black family and went against them and shut them down?
Exactly.
So come on, it's us, and then it's those who are in charge.
Exactly.
Until we come together collectively.
So this has happened recently. They took their land and
a couple of years ago
didn't give them shit for it.
Was it 100 acres?
Over 100 acres. I think it's like 110.
Yeah, it was a lot.
We got black farmers getting their land sabotaged. Their livestock being killed. Okay, we had protests in Colorado for black farmers who are blatantly getting sabotaged, blatantly getting death threats. You see where I'm going at? Okay, unfortunately, we as black people are now working as a unit to prevent any form of actionable things that white supremacists do to black people. We just actually see after the fact. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what was going on in Colorado until somebody told me.
But so I'm saying, how do we fix it though? Because you can spend every day for the rest of your life finding an injustice against a black person. My question is, how do you fix it?
Yeah, what are you going to do to fix it?
Brother Black American said that it has to be people like-minded. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And thanks, Brother Black America, for even when you came back and acknowledged that, yes, you did some stuff and you know, as a Black man. I appreciate that, because self acknowledgement of wrongdoing is the first step of healing and reconstructing one's our people in a community. And so, yes, it's going to take some of us to get in those spots, to get in those places, you know, and
we also got to deal with the degeneracy in our community as well.
Continuously.
You know, and I didn't realize that the Black man was in such disrepair. I mean, it didn't dawn on me that we are. So, is a consensus that Black men are damaged, that we are struggling? Are we missing something?
Yeah, let's answer that question.
Yes, as a family. Yes, as a family, wrong. The Black man and the Black woman, we have been divided.
Okay, so Miss, I don't know your name, but you read that Willie Lynch book, right?
Not only just the Willie Lynch, you can see it daily in this world that we live in.
Okay, so if you read it and you read through it and understood it, understood it, and understood it. What is the root cause? What did he say that if you get, then you get to mess up everything? What is the root cause?
The root cause was our family was divided. They put the Black woman in charge.
Exactly, and there you go. You don't need to say anything. Hold on. You don't need to say anything else, because the Black woman is the root cause. You can't say that a man is damaged because it's hold on 1 second. Give me 30 seconds. Me and Walter, right? Me and Walter are not too tall, but we got good money and we beautiful men, right? And we know how to use our mouthpiece. So we don't have no problems picking up no chicks. Now, any other man that's a Black man that's under 5'7", 5'8", they can't even get it. Okay, my bad. I'm 5'9" with shoes, brother. My bad.
I'm 5'8", man.
Okay, so now if you're not in shape, Walter's in pretty good shape. I'm in pretty good shape, but you can't get no dates. It's hard to get a date because these Black women. I had a woman who was 4'11" tell me she only date guys over 6 feet tall. Okay, at 40 something years old, baby, you need to be dating any nigga. Oh, my bad. Any brother with a job. Okay, any brother with the income. But this is the narrative, and that's why I say you guys must not go out a lot, because this is what our Black women are telling our Black men nowadays. This is what they tell. They don't say nothing until you pull up in the Benz or a G-Wagon or something like that. They own your sack. But other than that,
Black America, it's not even that anymore, man. Most Black women on social media are now complaining why they are not approachable anymore. The Black men in the Mercedes-Benz is not approaching the woman. They're not approaching the woman anymore because it's become so.
Because toxic. Of why? Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Why do I need to try so hard? Why do I need to try so hard when I have somebody readily get on my program? I'm not going to beat myself over the head. I done had enough Black women, and I still love them, and that's all I want. But you think you want me to run you down and track you down and spend thousands of dollars on you to take you to dinner and still come up with nothing at the end? You see what I mean?
Exactly. Man. I feel sorry. I feel sorry for this brother and
both of us been damaged.
I'm gonna over $5,000. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Super Mike. Maybe you can add something else to the conversation. How you doing this fine evening? I think.
Hey, how you doing? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
No, I was just listening in. I was just listening on your great conversation with the Pearly Things. I hear people talking about her. I've never bothered to watch. I just don't care. And like the sister said earlier, I don't want I'm not going to receive messages from anybody. It's like I don't want myself to condition myself to trust the white people. Bottom line. So they could be speaking some truth. It doesn't matter. I take money from white people, but I do it for the benefit of my family, of course, myself, and my community. So yeah, I'm gonna take their money, but it's for I'm gonna push good on my community. Just like the brother said earlier, a long time ago, I realized that because of a lot of our condition, if you just so happen to be lucky enough to think halfway, I guess, decent or successful or whatever, or decent on a few subjects, then you might be a little bit normal. When it comes to a lot of people in our community, especially in a lot of parts of the country, you're going to have to push good on us, which is weird, but that's the situation that we're dealing with. You got to push good, because we got a lot of negative messages hitting us from all over the place from babies. So that's how I look at it. I mean, that's your job that's part of our jobs. To me, as a responsible member of the community, I'm supposed to leech off the community without, returning something of good or better than what you got. So, yeah, I don't make, to me, that's normal. I sell to white people. So what? I'm gonna take their money and I'm gonna go do something to try to help my community. I see my community is undereducated here and there. I'm going to do something about it, and I'm gonna take the brunts and the bruises. That's how it is. That's just how it is. So that's just my points.
Put your community first. Put your community first.
That's how I look at it.
I'm gonna piggyback on that.
It don't matter. It don't matter how much we disagree with each other. Our community comes first. How much money can you take from your employers and bring it back to the community? Our biggest problem is that we take our money from the community and give it to other communities. And that has been the biggest stigma that we had economically for the last 45 years. That's a problem.
But when do black people go after these the politicians we keep voting for, or after, like my sister pointed out today in Fifth Ward, the nicest black buildings are the churches? When did we start walking up to the church and protesting with signs and start picking and marching down the street saying, hey, enough is enough? You want to find a poor black person, go to a black church. That is the shit we ought to be talking about. And I see a couple people talking about interest rates. Man, I watched the Dow Jones go from plus 300 to negative 500, and it'd probably be 1,000 if the market was still open. That is going to affect black people. You watch when these jobs and this chat HBT and all this stuff starts kicking in, and you think white supremacy is an issue for us? If we don't get on our P's and Q's and I'm telling you, man, having this, like me and my boys, we get together once a month and we talk money, relationships, and women. And it's just a group and it's starting to grow. And this is our conversation. And they're like, we need to get our money right. All of us need to be buying real estate. I don't care what you got to do to get it, own it. Because when you own something, even if it's a piece of land, you have power. Now, yet, can it be taken away? Sure, absolutely. We can't do nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? That happened in LA. They took the Bruce's families, their beach, Huntington Beach. They just wrote them a $20 million check over 20 years. And that's starting to happen.
And you know what, though? Let me just piggyback off to that real quick. What's interesting to me about that is that, because we've lost, a lot of our stuff has been stolen. Everybody knows that. Okay. But we lost the knowledge of how to run things. So when they did get their land back, they really didn't know what to do with it. So yeah, $20 million, take it. Why not? That's a bargain.
It's so parallel to.
And then they turn around and they sold it right back to them for less.
Exactly.
Because they don't know what to do with it.
Right. Thank you. Just like our musicians. Our musicians are selling their catalogs. Our rappers, our jazz musicians, our R&B singers, they selling their catalogs for money. Best believe that money that they get
for money.
They're not going to provide that same money to the community because we're now reaching a paradigm shift in the music industry. A lot of black artists are starting realizing that they're not even making that tour money, and that's the real money. When you go on tour, that's the real money. So the paradigm shift has reached to the point where venues are being postponed, canceled. People are not going to these shows. Best believe, okay, you're not going to be the dime a dozen like Beyonce, where we got so many people spending their rent money on her tickets. Okay, we don't have 1,000 Beyonces. Okay, Beyonce doesn't have to worry about selling her catalog because she's good. She already got a good 25 million in her pocket right now, and she hasn't even stepped on the stage. It's not even made yet. You understand what I'm saying? So you're selling all these.
The entertainers as well. The entertainers as well. I mean, look at all our brothers and sisters in the entertainment, the sports arena, the music arena. As you said, brother, they got millions. How many millions it takes for one man, for one woman?
Exactly.
But you love your people. But you love your people. No, you're fleecing your people, just like Brother Walter said about the churches. You're fleecing us. What are they doing?
It's a slap in the face that you got all these billionaire black men who want to buy the same networks that demonize black people for the benefit of 2 decades. How can I respect Tyler Perry that wants to buy VH1 and BET when you saw nothing but black smut, dysfunctionality? I'm supposed to take you seriously? You said that you was done with Medea since 2016. You still wearing the dress? You still wearing the dress in 2022? Yeah. Dancing to Beyonce?
I thought it was better. I thought it was better as
60 years old.
Yeah, I like I stayed there.
I can't respect these men. I don't care what they're doing. Everybody knows if they were to buy those networks, they are not going to provide any form of positivity for the black people. Okay, Tyler Perry studio.
Let me say something.
When the money crash, how do we survive?
So let me actually,
that's what.
Let me actually let Walter answer these 2 financial questions, and then we'll get back into that. So Walter, Thunder wants to know, what do you think about Charles Schwab taking over Ameritrade?
Well, I can tell you, it's making it easier when you consolidate. It makes it easier to make moves. You have 2 companies now working as one. It's easier to make moves. You have SVB. Well, I can't even say it. SVB. They're getting bought. Signature Bank is getting bought. We have this other. If they're already starting to consolidate the money, it makes it easier to move. And this is all happening right under our noses. I mean, I watched First Republic go from $180 to $12 a share in less than 2 weeks. Not know damn well if that bank survives, one day it's going to be $100 again. The question is, how do I get part of that? Like, remember we did the show and Facebook was $90. I told everybody buy buy Facebook stock options. They were $90. Do you know Facebook right now is $200? I put money in. I cashed out. I got out way too early, but I made a bunch of money. I was cool with it. So we need to be watching that stuff. Like every day I watch Bloomberg's. I turn on Bloomberg, Yahoo. Like if you go to my house right now on my TV's on, I got one on CNBC, one on Bloomberg, and one on Yahoo. Every room got a different stock market channel on. Because the stock market, it's news, it's real estate, it's Trump going to jail, it's everything. It's what's moving the world. So I think if we can just take 5 minutes and focus on that, I really think, man, can you imagine this? If black people what if we had a blackout from buffoonery? We blocked Tyler Perry out. We blocked 50 Cent out and all these, what you guys are calling, these people that their TV is hurting us. What if we blocked them out and just said all week we're just going to focus on the money? Can you imagine, like, if black people said, you know what? I'm not going to spend $100 to get my nails done, and I'm going to spend $300 to get my hair done, and you don't even have a date or you don't have a man, but you're spending $400 on your hair and nails. What if you put that, man, $400, you could buy 400 stock options of the Facebook 250s right now, or the First Republic banks. Like that you could do. Maybe we used to do this.
I got a
$100
question. So I got 2 questions. What's your Charles, right?
Walter.
What's your name? Walter, I'm sorry.
No,
okay,
Charles,
so
Charles is cool. I'm not Charles.
Charles Schwab, right? Okay, so but the thing is, I was going to ask you, okay, is it Shouldn't black folks get a little bit more focused on capital versus cash, which is a form of capital, I know, but there's a lot of value, and we just need to know what's actually valuable, because somebody must have taught you, or somewhere you must have learned to value certain things more than other things. And that right there, in order for what you was saying to happen, for us to cut out the foolishness for at least for a day, for a second, or whatever, for people to even understand why that would matter, because a lot of people, you have to convince them why that would matter. I
Well,
mean, that lesson, whatever you learn to teach you to say, okay, this is what's valuable, this is what's just fun and not really valuable.
well, I had my stepfather, when I was 13, he said you should become a stockbroker because stockbrokers make money, and that stuck to me. So when I grew up and became an adult, made a career decision, I went into financial services. So then what I did is I got into the business. I started working for American Express, and then I started joining all these organizations. Like I joined the 100 Black Men, even though they said they wouldn't work with me because I wasn't 40. So they said, come back when you're 40. You're too young to teach you something. So I just started going to all these little meetings, and I just found myself in these rooms. And I hate to keep bringing up race. These old, stodgy white men smoking cigars in their 70s. And I remember these dudes, they let me in the room and they go, you know what? One of the dudes was like, we want to help your people. So we're going to let you in our group. These are, I'm talking old, like I'm surprised. They all dead, guaranteed right now. I'm sitting in the room and I'm learning estate planning, stocks, real estate, cash flow management, how to buy an apartment building with little no money down. And I'm like, man, my folks need to hear this. And I spent the better part of my life as a financial planner educating Black people. Like I was a financial planner for Kanye West, Little John, a bunch of them. And I had these conversations with these people, but it wasn't sexy enough. So remember I used to do the War Zone, and he was like, y'all ain't entertaining. If it ain't entertaining, Black people ain't gonna watch it. So I think like the resources are out there. So if you can read, even if you can't, you can listen. We just need to shift our focus and make it more like right now, screw cash. I mean, you need cash to make moves, but once you get it, put it somewhere. You know, I just sold my lake house. It was paying me $5,000 a month on Airbnb. Every Black person told me, don't buy a house near the lake. Remember that show we had today? Even my sister called me out my name. And she used the N-word, nigga. What they're trying to tell you is, and so I did it anyways. Remember that show we did? I did it, and I put it on Airbnb, and it paid me $62,000 last year. And I just sold it, picking up my check for $500,000, and I'm $375,000 into it. So the point I'm making is I just went against the grain, and I was like, I'm gonna do it anyways. And that's what we can focus on. Get the money. Every morning I wake up, first thing I think about, if my woman is next to me, even if she is, I think about the money. Don't nothing move but the money. Rappers say Kareem get the money. I spent time with the RZA in New York. That was their thing. 50 cents.
But when you say money, I'm sorry to interrupt, but when you say money and then you say screw cash, explain that.
Well, so when you get cash, you need to put it to work. So if you buy a piece of land, let's say you buy a piece of land out here in Texas, Mississippi, wherever you are, and you put an RV on it, Airbnb will let you rent that RV out. VRBO, bookings, Expedia, they will let you charge people to sleep in that RV. My neighbors in Joshua Tree, California, where I'm building a house, my neighbors have RVs on their land, and they charge $150 a night to sleep in a trailer home, like in a mobile home in Airstream that you can buy for $20,000, $13,000, 20, 30, 40,000 brand new. You can buy one of those and charge $150 a night on Airbnb. That's what I mean by take your cash, put it somewhere that's actually paying you. You buy things that you can rent out, or you buy things like today, real estate agent was like, oh, this house we paid $129, and we just sold it for $250.
Mm-hmm.
It's a white lady that I'm
meeting. And what around what age are you 50? About 50 years old?
Who was that? Me?
You.
I'm 50 right now, but I was
okay. So you saying that you were what I'm trying to get at is like, okay, so you started this financial planning journey when you were like what 20, around what age? Some okay, you said your
1996.
stepfather told you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he put you onto it, and then you start getting jobs in it. So you were like what 20, 19, 18, stuff like that.
I was older. I didn't get into the business until like 1996, 1997 is when I got in.
30s.
I don't know how old I was. Maybe I was
We'll
20.
learn 20s, 30s.
That's what I'm
Okay, so what I'm saying is you're throwing numbers around that I would say probably maybe 80% of black people don't get to see if you're working. You don't get to use $20,000 or $10,000 or $5,000. You get to use those kind of numbers until you get like what 60.
no, I didn't
A lot of black folks, there is a lot of us. So I'm not saying that it's none. So there may be hundreds of thousands, but you got to realize if you look at the number of black folks that's in this country, the working black people, even the ones that's not working, let's just say 20 million adults. I mean, out of 20 million, okay, you might have 100, 200,000 people who can deal with the numbers that you're talking. That's less than a million.
But these
So
are
you got the
basic
yeah.
math, though. I mean, these are whatever everything I just said. This is basic math. You can hear. You can.
Oh no, I'm not saying that it's not true, but I'm just talking about the scale. And that's all I'm saying is that you started early and you're into that business and throwing around the numbers. By the time somebody is can do what you're saying with those kind of numbers, just buy this house and do this and do that, put your money to work, by the time if they hadn't started early enough, I should say, if they hadn't started early enough, then they gonna be scared to mess with that money because they worked their whole life for that money.
Here's the thing. I think black people, we spend too much time praying and asking Jesus for permission to invest, buy a piece of real estate. Because when I'm 53 in 2017, I had lost a good percentage of my money. I was in a company, put all my money in there, and they separated my contract. And most of my money I poured into the business, and it was gone in 2017. I had next to nothing. I mean, when I say next to nothing, man, my car was acting funny. I mean, like I wasn't destitute, but I was like, whoa, I'm starting over. And all I did, I went to YouTube and I built my credit and I got some people, back in the groove, some people I used to work with, and I rebuilt. All that stuff was free. And I think you can, regardless of how old you are, you can do it. The problem is we have too many obstacles. We have Jesus. And I don't mean Jesus is an obstacle. I mean, we use him or whatever it is. Oh, I got to talk to God first. Like, really, did you talk to God when you got with that dude or with that chick? Or when you spent $80,000 on Mercedes, did you go to God first? Did he say get the foreign before you buy a piece of real estate? Or you have a Land Rover and no land? Like, do you pray before you do that?
Okay, Walter, I wanna add the dollar, the cash. We see the currency is fixing to change, and they're fixing to take us to CBDC, digital currency, right? So I do have some investments and working on stocks and whatnot, but still, the currency is fixing to change, that dollar. So with those of us that don't have that dollar right the back in that amount, what do we do when they come and crash the system with the dollar and we going complete digital?
Well, and I do believe you that money is going digital, be it they're swiping your palm or it's a credit, because when you use a credit card, that's digital currency, that's not cash. So we're already in a digital currency era, and we have been for a long time. This is Bitcoin is just really got us thinking because it's was something we don't really understand. But if you own a piece of property, if you own an asset, regardless of what it's paying you, if it's cryptocurrency or cash, it's going to pay something. So the thing is to get the thing that's going to pay you. And you don't have to have a lot of money to do this. You need good credit. If you don't have any money, spend the next year or two building your credit. Build your credit. make use on time, keep your balances low when you need to use your credit. Like me, my credit right now is maxed the hell out. I got every single credit card maxed out because I'm using it for something. But now that I'm looking to buy more real estate, I pay off that credit and then I go apply for stuff, right? Because it don't make sense to have credit cards with no money on them. What's the point? If I can borrow money at 12% from Visa, and I can turn around and send it, buy a house and make 15, 20, 30% on my money, why wouldn't I borrow the money from Visa? Hey, Visa American Express, if you're going to loan my money at 12%, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it at 20%. I have my mortgage on my house just sold. It's 12%.
I have a 789 credit. I have a 789 credit score, and the credit cards and all this. I have 47 some plus and whatnot. Okay, so why would they still continue the system? When I say they, the system still want to present me with more credit with an interest rate of 22. They want to do that, and my credit score is 789.
Because it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with banks need to make money. So they go to the Federal Reserve and get money at 4 or 5%. They need to get 15, 20 because they got to keep the spread. Plus they bought these long bonds. And if you understand anything about bonds, when bond prices and interest rates move in opposite directions. So when the interest rates go up, bond prices come down. Banks own these bonds, so bonds are coming down, which is why they're collapsing, because their assets are going down, and they use those assets to loan against. So as bond prices go down, banks get wiped out on the asset column because the interest rates are higher, so they get wiped out. So they need to charge you more money to make up for the money they're losing, regardless of what your credit score is. They are going to charge. If you get an American Express card from Nordstrom's, your interest rate is going to be 29%, regardless of what your credit is.
That's what happened to SPV.
It's just so what, and so all it really takes is understanding what's happening with the banks. You know, bonds, like I said, interest rates and prices move in opposite directions. If I have $100 and I need to get $10 a year, all I need is 10% interest. But if interest rates go up to 20% and I only need $10, you understand what I'm saying? Then I can use $50 and still get 10. So that $100 bond has to come down to 50 to be equal. And that's what happened to the banks. So, and this could be part of the plan. You know, who knows? We don't really understand what's going on behind closed doors. But if you own real estate.
Oh, you know what? Let me say something. You just said that just made me think about what you said earlier. Now, you said these white men said, oh, we want to help your people, so we're going to teach you.
Yeah, I was the only one who will go in.
So let me say something. Let me know the reason why that stuck out to me is because I don't know if you know Hosea Williams, right? Hosea Williams. He was one of Martin Luther King's friends, and he wasn't like a sellout type. He ends up, still doing some having a respectable life, not being pretty much a sellout type of person. And he actually said that he was a chemist. He went to some little spot over there in Savannah where a lot of white folks was like this. Basically, they used this line. They said, you're a little smarter than the rest of your people. What's the difference? And see if you go for it. And he said, well, I forgot what his response was or whatever. But the bottom line is they try to isolate you to see if you feel like you are a little better. And then they kind of get you to separate so they can I think that's the bottom line is that's the technique on to see if they can I guess get you to maybe sell out and carry the water for them or whatever. So that just was interesting.
I want to push back on that, and then that's like I got to push back on that. That had nothing to do with it. I came to them. I walked in on their meeting. You understand what I'm saying? And it was the old white men that taught me the shit. So when I met Kanye West, I was in Miami Beach. I got a call from his manager and was like, yo, Kanye needs help. I was like, is she cute? Because I thought it was a chick with the name, just who I was back then. And so I get on the phone with Kanye and we're talking. Me and him are always on the phone. And I started hitting him with all this shit. Like, you could do this, you could do that. So we built his credit. We took, I can't go into what we did for him, but we did all this shit for him. And then I started doing it for other celebrities and Lil Wayne and Lil Jon and all these things and all these people. Raven Simone, I can go on and on and on with the list. But that is something that I got. And I don't care what color these men are. They just happen to be old white men.
But and then even more so, how did you get into the industry? Weren't you delivering pizzas?
I was delivering pizzas. I answered an ad in the newspaper. That's how I got this job. And here's the crazy part.
That's not what I'm saying. I didn't say that to blame you or to somehow. I'm sorry if that's what that seemed like I was doing.
No, I understand what you're saying, but that's the point of most of us. We feel it's like, oh, they were setting you up. But like, it's funny, when I got the job, I was delivering pizzas.
That's not what I was saying. Let me get exactly what I was. Let me rephrase it so I can give you exactly what I was talking about. I'm not saying that they was trying to necessarily set you up. I'm just saying that this is a general technique, and that's why I said like this is something that I've seen from Hosea Williams. It's on recording. You can see his. He has a little documentary he did before he passed. So you can see him explain this thing that happened to him, and I know that this happened to others. But what they do is a technique. I'm not saying that they try to set you up or nothing like that, but basically, like they're saying, we're giving you this information. It basically makes you feel some sort of loyalty to them, and it frustrates you with your own folks. So what ends up happening is I don't know. It's like that's kind of how they do the DNC people. That's the reason why you got a lot of people who are blackface in high places.
See, but this is.
But we don't see those folks doing what we would expect black folks in high places to do when we put them there. That's what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying, but I think that's the diversion. It's the point I was making earlier. And no diss to you, it happens a lot, is when we get talking about money and finance and how to build wealth. I mean, you sit and listen to the dude. I built Kanye's credit. I built his wealth from the ground up. If you see this dude, you ask him who built your credit, he will tell you who I am. So I'm telling you, for them educating me is not hurting black people. I mean, if we got to hurt somebody, it's hurting white people, because now you have this black kid who is educating black people on finance, wealth, stock options, real estate, how to build your credit. I can't tell you how many black people from these shows will be like, yo, man, I listened to you. I bought my house with the advice from the stock options. I got my down payment on my house. That is helping black people. So if we got to be tricked into it.
And let me throw this in here too, because I know Walter's story as well. In his class, because he started off at American Express before it turned to Ameriprise, the seniors in the company said, we don't even want to talk to y'all unless y'all been here for 6 months, because most of y'all will not be around in 6 months. And Walter was the only one that was around out of the class. It was black people, it was all kinds of people in the class, but he was the only one that stayed around and actually made it in the company. And, I don't think Walter minds me telling you, Walter went from, see, one thing about Walter, he's always been a hustler. Like, he's always worked for self, whether it's a lawnmower business, when he was 12, you name it, right? You get that from, get it honest from my family. But he went from doing that, delivering pizzas and other stuff, to making $30,000 to $40,000 a month, and sometimes even more than that. But I think more than anything is, you have to be coachable, right? You gotta want to get the information. Because my mom used to always tell me, because I like to read a lot of self-help books, and she used to say, okay, good. Now what are you gonna do with it? Because unless if you're not applying the knowledge, it's just knowledge that you have. You're not using the knowledge. And so unfortunately, and there's a lot of black people in the field of finance, but when it comes down to this stuff, because this is where the rubber meets the road. And listen, y'all know me by now. I'm never, ever going to deny that racism exists and that it's a problem to us as black people more than anybody. But there are things that we can and should be doing. As he said, we spent about 2.5 hours driving around what they call our neighborhoods. And Walter pointed this out. There were some brothers shooting the breeze. There was older brothers, so it's probably what they do every day. and he says, oh my God, and I'm putting a little bit on it, but they are watching the gentrification right before their very eyes. And they're not alarmed by it. Everywhere we drove in the neighborhood, you saw Mexicans, they were building up, and everybody's building up. And literally, there'd be, I would assume, it was a black house, and on each side of them, these brand new buildings. And it's like, y'all not see what's going on here? So I don't know what those brothers were discussing, but it's like, might y'all be discussing pooling some money together, at least buy one of these houses? Because there's going to come a time where no black people own anything in those neighborhoods, and we are going to get priced out, hence gentrification. So I say all that to say is when knowledge is going forward, we got to not only inculcate it, but we have to take action and do something with it. And I'm speaking to myself too, because Sister O, I got great credit, but Walter's always telling me, well, what are you going to do with it? You just have great credit. Are you going to do something with it? And so I'm like, all right, I hear you.
You use it.
All right, Walter, I'm going to need that contact information.
I mean, you can hit me up, and here's how I get down. I tell people, if you calling me, it better be about income, money coming to my pocket and coming into yours. I don't do small talk. I don't know when the OJs, when the last one died, but what I do know is where the money is moving. Like, right now, I'll tell you, if you have a 780 FICO score, here's what you could do. I'm gonna tell you. And matter of fact, if you in Houston, actually Navy Federals everywhere, and you would do this before they cut it off, because interest rates are starting to rise, and Navy Federal, some of these banks are starting to get a little more weary about loaning money. You could go right now to Navy Federal with a 780 FICO score, 680 FICO score, and say, you know what? You could walk through a parking lot and say, I like this. Let's just call it Mercedes-Benz for whatever it is, right? And you can give them the VIN number. So let's say D leave her door open and I read her VIN number off her door. That ain't even my car. I'm just going to get food. Whole Foods, hopefully. So, and I call Navy Federal, give them that VIN number and say she's selling me that car for 50 grand. They'll look it up and go, oh, okay, it's worth $50,000. As a bank buying a car, we can loan you 125% of the value. So they will give you $62,000. I think that's right. They will give you $62,000 to buy a car that you will never see again. They will cut you a check, and then you have to go out and find the car and then let them know the actual car you did buy. So I've always wanted a Range Rover, and that's why you got to have a dream board. And it's been on my dream board for 2 years, my Range Rover. And one day me and my girl was walking, and I saw all black Range Rover, whoop-de-whoop. And she's all, in so many words, stop being a bitch. Why don't you just get it? I was like, you are being a bitch. Like, you the financial planner to the stars. Like, you dreaming over a Range Rover. So I got the VIN number, call Navy Federal. I go, what's it worth? She goes, it's worth 45. We'll give you 60. She goes, how much would you like? I said, stop asking me the stupid questions. So they gave me 60 grand. I bought the Range Rover at auction for $30,000
No doubt there.
You know what I did with the other 30? I used it. Me and my son pitched in and bought a house in Denton and made 100 grand from it. From the Range Rover money I borrowed from Navy Federal. You see what I'm saying? And I did the same thing with my Audi. I did the same thing with the BMW. I'm telling my sister to do it. I've been telling everybody to do it. You don't have to have a pot to piss in. You don't even have to have the piss to put in the pot. They will cut you a check. You can call them. My neighbor did this. My neighbor, they're going through it, trying to get their life together. And the wife calls Walter, I want a car. And the husband goes, yeah, can you help us? And I thought that was cool for a grown-ass man to say, hey, can you help us? You know what I'm saying? My wife wants a car. Can you help us get it? She called Navy Federal next morning. They cut her a check for 35 grand. Just like that. Boom. And she goes, and then she goes, right now, her Lexus is in my garage. I'm selling it. I'm taking a little bit and I'm giving them the rest. And she goes, what do I do with the $8,000 from the Lexus? I said, what do you want to do? That's a down payment on a small condo in Houston. Louisiana. You can buy a house for $100,000 in Louisiana. It's going to be need a little work. But FHA, that's $3,500 out of your pocket. And the seller, a lot of times, is paying the closing cost. And in California right now, they're giving you 20% down payment to buy a house. When you sell it, then you got to split the profits with them. There's stuff everywhere right now. There's money all over the place. But everything I just talked about, you need credit. So you don't have to. Now, how much money did I put in the Navy Federal hustle? And I call it a hustle because I just shouldn't call it a hustle. It's a strategy. Like, how much money did I use? Not a penny. Not a penny out of my pocket. Went to buy my Range Rover, my Audi, my BMW, or the Jeep. I got none of that shit. And I use all those cars. My Audi, do you know I still have the pink slip to the Audi, the BMW? And I sold the Jeep to CarMax. To Carvana. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, Navy Federal is going to give me $50,000 for the Jeep at a 12% interest rate. But because I have the title, I was able to sell the car to Carvana. And Navy Federal is like, okay, if you don't give us a pink slip, we're going to jack your interest rate up. I was like, jack it up. If I can, so take my rate from 12 to 18, but I know how to make 50% on the money. I don't care if you take my rate to 25. I'm still, even if I make 50, I still keep 25. So just imagine if you had money, cash to put somewhere. Like I tell people, stop with the, oh, I need to buy a house thing. Cut that stuff out. Buy you a piece of investment property. I can buy a 5-unit building easier than I could buy a house. Because when you buy investment property that's over 4 units, they use the income from the property to qualify for the loan. They don't care about your credit as much or your income, because if the building's paying $50,000 a year from the 5 units, the bank will take 75% of that 50 and use that and add that to your income to see if you qualify. And if you buy in the right building, the money from the building is going to pay for the rent is going to pay for the building 100% and leave you money left over.
Absolutely. Jay, what's on your mind? How are you this evening? Did it freeze up?
Yes.
Hi, Jay.
He's muted.
Oh, I muted you. Let me unmute you. There you go. We can hear you now. How you doing?
All right. Y'all doing all right today?
We are. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mr. Walter, I got a question for you, a serious question for you. I need you to answer this question. And it's about finances. What if some black folk don't have that type of money you talking about? Say, for example, somebody like our age. I'm in my 50s. So what if they start off, say, somebody who ain't never just invested in anything at all, period, and say they got like $100. What can they do? Put $100? Because most blacks that I know don't have, that type of money. Some people work from 8 to 5, 9 to 5, or 6 to 2, or whatever. Right. And a lot of them don't have that type of money. And sometimes now, since I'm living in Texas now, in Houston, it's my first time in my life ever been to Houston, Texas, in my life. But coming from Mississippi now. That being said, what can a person do put $100 and they, can't come up with $1,000, even $500?
Well, one, that's a limiting belief, because you, like, for instance, I'll give you an idea. I started a candle business with $100. I went to a candle supply store. I bought some jars. I went to YouTube, bought a little wax, some wicks, some little scent. If you go into my podcast room in my house, I have it surrounded by candles.
Okay.
I'll bring you one. So everywhere I go, I bring candles to people. To make this candle cost me $5 to make one candle. Yesterday, I shipped 6 candles to the post office on the way to the airport at $20 each. Now I paid for shipping. So I was telling my assistant, who lives with me, by the way, she needed a place to stay. I needed some help 24 hours around the clock. So there you go. Right. So I said, by the time I get back, these candles need to be moved. There's nothing stopping you from going out and taking this candle, so take $100 and make 20 candles, and you go take those 20 candles and you go sell them, knock on some doors. Hey man, I'm selling this candle, $15. That's 20 candles times $15. What is that? That's what, $350? How many candles can I make with 350? With $350? You understand where I'm going with this? How many is that? That is 60. What is that? Almost what, 70 candles? You understand what I'm saying? So what's 70 times 15 or times 20? That's $1,400. So I started with 100. I made 5 candles. I sold them. You understand what I'm saying? And then I went out and bought more. I sold those. I went out and bought more, and I got over $1,000. I take that $1,000, give it to Capital One and Citibank for a secure credit card. I go to Self Inc. and give them a little money, and I got 3 secure credit cards. And in 2 years, I got a 700 FICO score. And I make sure the old stuff that I have, I settled it. I pay it off because
there you go.
I think you
pay. I mean, that being said and stuff like that, I get that what you're saying, but I mean, in certain cases, you know, I see certain people that actually want to come out to the situation they're in, but they just don't know how to go about doing it. And then sometimes I think in a lot of locations for us as a people, I think a lot of times we so stressed out so far, and some people don't know how to actually get in contact with, you know, certain individuals so they can be, you know, be taught, or somebody have a class if they want to join the class, like say like yourself, you got a class going on, and they can really just get in there, and you can really, you know, really teach them, you know, how to go by, you know, investing their money in the right way, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't know how to do it.
I see what you're saying,
but include myself.
Right, but so what I'm saying is I just did that. So a class to learn, it doesn't have to be a class. And I understand, because a lot of people say you should teach a class. I'm like, you know how I teach my sister said I can show you better than I can tell you. Is you go out and do it. So when I told people I wanted to have a candle business, everybody laughed. So I'm a black man, 53. I'm in my room, man. I got the candle pour. I'm setting the wick. I'm dropping the scent. You know what I'm saying? I'm handing them out to my neighbors. This is a financial planner to Kanye West, formerly selling candles door to door. Now I know if I sell 100 candles a day at a $10 profit, that's $1,000 a day. That's $365,000 a year. If I can sell 12 candles in an hour, man, I can go to a parking lot and sell 12 candles in an hour and make almost $400. So the point I'm making is, you just gotta, there's really no class for that. Either you're gonna do it or you don't. Now, the cool thing is, as you get a little more sophisticated, you go to Alibaba, Ali West, and they'll send you the whole candle for $2.50. Now you go for $5. You know, like, or I started my clothing line with the pandemic money. Everybody got $600, right? $1,200. I went down to the garment district, and there was 1 million black people doing the same thing. We buying shirts, selling clothing lines, and we starting a clothing line. So if you go to verbalherb.com, you can buy my shirts. I started that with my stimulus check. So was it tough? Yeah, people hating on me, clowning me. Oh, he's selling shirts. Oh yeah, well that's a profession. Oh, you selling candles? You selling shirts? I'm like, okay, well you a dumbass. Number one, because every time I walk into a Walmart, you know the first thing I smell? Candles. Bedroom on and gone. You walk into Target, you walk in on the right. What's the first thing you see is candles. And so I started going, wait a minute. Every time I walk in somebody's house, you know what I see? Candle. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if this ain't a lit candle. We'll talk about that later. Mahogany teak, where I make white. So that's what we need to be telling our kids, telling ourselves. Like the Mexican dude on the corner today, we saw selling tacos and strawberries. That's hard work, sitting there all day. But I guarantee you that stuff starts to add up.
Okay, well then I'm gonna ask you this. This is my last and final question to ask you. Do you think it's us? Or do we have the motivation enough as a people? For some of us, I ain't saying all of us, for some of us to want to do these things, or we just don't got to a point now until we just beat down till we just said, when, hey, I'm not gonna go no further in life. I'm just gonna just stay on these jobs, and that's gonna be it. I'm just gonna get paid every 2 weeks and take that little money and probably stack a little money here and there in the bank, and what I'm saying, hopefully I can make it to 65 if I can't. So what do you really think in that aspect?
I feel chest pain. No, you know what it is?
Really?
And I'm going to go back to our earlier conversation, is we got to get away from title-itis. What does he do for a living? And I know, and I'm gonna lean a little bit to the other side. And I know in our community, we beat our men up based over their job titles. Matter of fact, if you watch a Tyler Perry movie, they put Shamar Moore. He's the bus driver. And they're like, okay, even he's a bus driver. So what? Like, I still love him because he drives a bus. Like, he's driving a bus. He's making $50,000 a year, living in Houston, driving the bus. He got a house and a car, and him and his family go on vacations. But because he's a bus driver, he ain't glamorous. We need to walk away from title-itis. And I think Black people, we beat our men up based on what they do. If I can make $400,000 a year selling candles, does it matter that I'm not I don't even know what's popular. What's popping in the Black community? What should I be?
Scientist, doctor, lawyer,
but doctor,
disease specialist.
Absolutely.
Well, how about the ones that making like $15 an hour? Then say, doing whatever. What would you say to those brothers stuff like that? And then I got a question, especially for Miss K.
$15 an hour is $600 a week, which means you're getting some sort of tax refund or some sort of earned income credit if you got kids. If you make $600 a week, you can go to Houston, Texas right now and rent a room for $500 a month. So that is 4 days of work. You still have 3 weeks and a day. So 1 week pays your rent. 2 days makes your car payment. What are you doing with the other 2.5 weeks? If you make $2,400 a month in Texas, which is $15 an hour, you can have a room, a decent car, because with $200 a month, you can get into a $10,000 car. You can buy a used Mercedes right now, 2013, for 10 grand all day. You understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
You have that extra money left over. The problem is that guy that's making $15 isn't thinking like this. I'm gonna get me a room. I'm gonna get me a $200 car payment, and then I'm gonna take I'm gonna take that 40 times 15, 600 of one of those weeks, and I'm gonna use it, and I'm gonna save it for a down payment so I can buy that shitty house next door that's been vacant for 10 years before it gets gentrified. And then what I'm gonna do is, once I get one of those, me and homeboy that's on fries, and homeboy that's at the drive-through window, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get with the janitor out sweeping the floor, Burger King. We're gonna get together and we're gonna do this again as a group. And that's what the Mexicans do, man. They're selling tomatoes on the freeway. 10 years later, they own an apartment building, doing just what I just said.
Wow.
Absolutely. So so I hope y'all taking notes. So, Brother Kyle, what's going on with you this fine evening?
Hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Are you there?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, all is well. All is truly well today. I was just admiring the conversation as far as a lot of people was asking about investing and what they should do. And that's really, and I like the brother with Sister K. He be always having some really good ideas of investing and stuff, and I really admire his ideas. But a lot of stuff to kind of piggyback off that, as far as with like real estate, I'm a real estate investor, and I used to do a lot of real estate, but I don't do it now. But there's actually a way that you can get actually free houses. I used to get free houses all the time. And how you go about getting free houses, you can go to your city, where you go to the downtown, wherever your downtown assessments office, and you can find a list of foreclosures. You get a list of foreclosures. And what I used to do was I used to go door to door with these foreclosures lists because I already had the information. And what I would do is just go and ask the people whether if they want to stay or if they want to sell, I can help them in their situation. And a lot of times they want to just bail. So if you just let them know that you'll just buy their house, they'll just give you the deed. And I used to always get the deed. And once I get the deed, it's my house. So now I go negotiate short sales with banks and get them like pennies on a dollar. So that's kind of one thing if you want to get like into investing. And if you don't have a lot of money, because you don't need really actually tell you the truth, if you know how to communicate and if you just learn some techniques, which I did learn some techniques, you can get free houses. And it don't cost you nothing. And I used to get these free houses and make five figures off of them easy. Another thing I used to do is I used to start years ago before I even started doing real estate. I stopped. I just needed money, and I got tired of working for it. Getting jobs. And when you get a job, you still got to prepare for it. So what I did is I borrowed about $100 in food stamps. And I went and brought some fruit and I packaged it up and I sold packaged fruit with an apple, orange, and a banana for $2. And I did that. And I used to make like $500 a day plus. I used to make so much money and also have so much people be there every day that I got free advertisement. The newspaper came and wrote up an article on me because they just see me out there every day, and people thought I was crazy. I really thought that people thought I was crazy, but by me being there consistently every single day with a smile on my face and greeting people on their way to work, it was a no-brainer for everybody. So it's just a matter of who are you talking to, who you're around, what are you reading, and what's on your mind. And these thoughts will come to you. But some people have to actually believe in themselves and they have to invest in themselves. And that's where it starts at. No matter what you do, no matter what you have and what you don't have, it starts with your attitude and your mind. So I think that everybody can do that. And I think that if people are listening to this, and if you're really serious about doing something, making a shift, a change, or being an entrepreneur or something, you should be taking some notes. You should.
The fruit idea. The fruit idea is a good idea to see people doing. I live in California. Man, if you at home and you want some strawberries, all you got to do is drive the block. You want some oranges, just hit the freeway on ramp. You know what I'm saying? Or go to the middle lane. And I know they're making money because you see them out there all day.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's not, I mean, some people think that that's a Mexican or, Hispanic thing. No, I'm originally from the South Side of Chicago. Black people been doing all of that stuff way before Mexicans even came. I mean, we used to have the guy come from Mississippi every summer, and he'd have this big old truck full of watermelons, and he'll sit there for days and sell them all. So it's like I say, it's about once you really have a mindset of you want to really actually grow and you want to do something better, ideas will come to your mind, and just invest in yourself. The thing about it is, like I know some people that got 700-800 credit scores, but they are so for some reason frightened on investing into real estate. And I understand where they at, because you be scared because you just don't know what the outcome is. But mind you, I bought property with having not one red cent invested in it. So it didn't take me no more. I didn't work no harder than if I'd have had money or good credit to buy the house. But I didn't have to use my own money, and I didn't have to use my own credit. And I learned how to go and get other people's money to use it. Because one thing for sure, people that's out here that's doing big things and that's doing or buying house, people don't use their own money. That's not the smart way. The smart way is use other people's money. So if you know how have avenues, how you can get credit or get loans, or even just knowing how to network with people that's looking, because you have a lot of people out here that has capital and they're looking to buy property and they're looking to try to buy it the best way they can without going through a lot of loops and bounds to get it. So I used to be that middle person that used to make it easier for buyers to use their cash or credit to buy properties from you. So it's just a matter of your mindset. Just start, putting yourself around people that's like-minded, that's thinking on that level, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just pull the trigger, even if you make a mistake. Yeah, people with good credit, they just tend to be, when I say good, like people with perfect credit, they tend to be sometimes a little scary, because I know that my girlfriend has her credit scores in the 8s, and sometimes we argue about stuff, and I'm just like, girl, come on now, you got an 800 FICO score. I'm out here with a 720, knocking out holes and punching COs, and your credit score is 100 points higher than mine. It's just but I've gone through it though. I've lost money, I've taken risks, so because I have some of that edge of failure, it's easier for me to pull the trigger, because I know what failure looks like and I know how to avoid it and get better. So sometimes you just have to be around somebody that's done it.
Absolutely. So Brother Don, I'm gonna give you the last word. I didn't realize we was only here 2 hours and 35 minutes, but what's going on with you, brother? And thank you, Brother Kyle, for that information and inspiration.
Okay, I'm out of here, y'all. Have a good day.
All right, thank you. Come again.
Yes, sis. I'm sitting up in the lab now, so it's like all devices are going. I got, three devices going. I got the nephew teaching on some. I got my sister teaching on something else. And I needed to come on here. One, because I told you I was gonna get back on when I landed. But Walter, let me ask you this: if I had 25 acres of land that was cleared, and I wanted to sell it to you for 25 grand, would you buy it?
If you had 25 acres and you wanted to sell it for 25
cleared land,
grand?
cleared land. There's no trees, nothing like you got to clear it, nothing. Would you buy it?
It depends on where it was and what I could do with it. Is there traffic? Is there water nearby? Electricity? Is there a grocery store? 10-mile radius, or is it just out in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, all those things were there. Yeah, all those things are in place. There's a grocery store, traffic, all that stuff.
Can you build on it?
Oh yeah, you can build on it.
Well, I mean, send me an address, send me a APN. You know what I'm saying?
Now, what if I put that offer out to you, like, say 3 months ago?
I'll say, send me the address, send me the the APN number, right? The address of the land.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll give you. You know what? I'll do better. I do you better. I'll give you the address. It's 234 Jefferson Street, East Palestine, Ohio.
Oh, that's funny. What part of
My point is this: East Palestine, Ohio. My point is this. My point is this.
It's gonna be worth money one day.
And I'll go right back to what I was talking about. I told you I have two of my people up right now. A nephew's a teacher, and then my sister, who's a teacher. Why would I invest in a place that's being destroyed? This place is being destroyed, and the problem is this. I function at a level that is above
which place
this here United States of America. The United Snakes of America is being destroyed. As prophetically spoken.
You talking about not investing? You talking about not investing here at all?
At all.
I mean, yeah, that's. I mean,
listen. If you got a place that's being destroyed, I don't know about you, but last night I had 5.5 hours of no electricity, and then it's the same way now. Pushed down on a couple neighborhoods. Pushed down. Everything is unfolding. All the prophecies are unfolding. So if I know that Mystery Babylon is going to be destroyed and is being destroyed, why in the hell would I invest here?
I mean, you got to invest somewhere. My point was,
I invest on the continent. Which is what I'm going to do. Which is what we're doing. We're in the process of putting our plan together. our land that's being offered, our documents, and all that other stuff. Because Babylon, Mystery Babylon, is supposed to be destroyed. See, the deal about it is, like I said, I work at and exist at a higher level of understanding who I am and who we are and why we're here, the timelines of things that are happening, and as well as the things that are unfolding that were spoken of many days before. We're watching them right now.
Yeah, but most people can't do that. Most people just need to start where they are. You know what I'm saying? Most people just need to invest where
Most
they
people
are.
need to wake up. Most black people need to wake up.
I mean, if the United States is destroyed from some weather event, then we're all dead anyways. That's just kind of my approach.
Weather
event?
No. There is no weather event. It's
the point I'm making is
what you're watching right now. You're watching the enemies of the whore come against the whore. Do you know this country is surrounded by nuclear vessels?
But let me say this, because I get both of what you're saying. I think I know.
I mean, that's
most black people ain't gonna leave America. Let's just keep it real. They not. You know what I mean?
And you're right to me.
They just not. They not. And Marcus Garvey was talking about that in the even before the 1920s. Let's get up out of here, right? Some black people are, and I think that's the optimal thing to do if you can. Well, most black people aren't going to leave, and so while we're here, I think we need to secure something, right? We need to secure something, and
we need to be looking forward.
Yeah, but most people ain't never left the city they live in. You can't believe that. I met somebody not too long ago who's never left their city. So
yeah,
now
that
we
happens
talk
in
about
Oakland.
So we talking about taking them to another continent, which I've been to the motherland and love it. But while we're here, I think we need to secure something and do better financially here. Because we do better financially here, then we can say, you know what? I've secured a lot of money and things. Now I can leave. I'm gonna go, right? Because when you go, you gotta be able to sustain yourself when you get there. There's a lot of people who go and they end up having to come back. Like,
Well, because they didn't have a good plan. See, if you don't have a plan, then you fail. If no one plans to fail, they just fail to put together a plan. And the thing about it is, for me, it's like this. I know what's going to happen, without a doubt, because I'm watching it unfold right now. I can look at the history and know the history matches up with what was said historically about what was going to happen. There are no other people group in history that fit that description except for us. There's no other people group in history that was shipped into bondage, were put into bondage on ships. And the thing about it is, we've been lied to and manipulated so much that we don't even know who we are. We think we are, and this is go back to the PewDiePie thing. PewDiePie. PewDiePie used the same methodology to get where they were as Pearly Things. But that is the deal. Our people don't realize. Our people are asleep. Okay, so let me just say this real quick. Our people are asleep, but prophetically, he said, in the last days, I'm going to wake my people up. What is he waking his people up to? Their history, their culture, their heritage, the promises, everything, language, all that stuff. He's waking his people up. And see, the people have co-opted that term to try to derail the narrative. Woke means the equivalent of the scripture that he said, in the last days, I will awaken my people. That's what woke is. Being awakened to the fact that you are of the lineage, the heritage, the royal household.
You know what, though? And I totally agree with you on all of that. You guys know I do study the Nation of Islam. Just got to reading this book. Great book, Fall of America by Elijah Muhammad. Prophecy. I'm just going to say that. I don't know why it's prophecy. I will say that. But the other thing, too, is, and this is why I don't adhere to religion, especially that of Christianity. Not saying that you are, because as Black people, we're taught that heaven and finer things are going to be when we die, right? That's not true. We need to get it here. And even if
Yeah,
that's here in America or that's somewhere else, we need to do that, right? So I get it. I know,
I'm
all
I'm
about
I'm not
Babylon. The
religious.
messenger talks about Babylon a lot in this book, so I don't think anybody's oblivious to that. But we got to get it. We got to get it.
Yeah,
Black
yeah, we
people
gotta
are at
get it.
the bottom of the totem pole of everything you can think of, and without the money, don't nothing move, right? And so we're talking about making leaps and bounds, and I get it. We ultimately should leave. Trust me, I'm on that page. However, we're trying to change the mindset of a people who cannot even fathom withholding their money from the oppressor during Christmas. We cannot,
Yeah,
we're talking to a people who cannot stay out of the oppressor stores or where we're being choked and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? So I get what you're
that's part of the
saying.
curses. That's part of the
Yeah,
curses. That's part of the
but
curses. And you know what, Demetra? Here's
mhm,
here's here's something else prophetic. 2/3 of us ain't gonna make it. That's what it says. 2/3 of us ain't gonna make it. So I mean,
mhm.
I account for that too. But one of the reasons I don't trust these people, and going back to the topic of the broadcast, is this. Check this out.
Mhm. Okay.
So, it's just like, and she was worse than him, and we still see that today. So, in the land of our captivity, we're watching everything fall apart here. You guys got it last year. We're getting it now in California. Um, you know, for me, the signs are very, very plain for me.
Oh
And
yeah.
it is about, I'm trying to accumulate as much wealth as I can before I leave. Absolutely. To put towards it. So, I mean, I love Walter and I love the way he thinks. I love the way his mind thinks. But just, the thing about it is, how much more power would we have on the continent based on the way our minds work compared to how the mindset is there?
Right. I mean, and I think the goal should be working toward going there. I know people who are actually working toward, building something here so they could take it with them because we know, of course, your resources go a little bit further there. But you
Right.
have to build something where you are, and we got to change the mindset of our people.
I would be a
It's
hypocrite.
hard to convince the people that we need to. I mean, we start off with the topic of a lot of brothers following this white woman, telling them about
Hmm.
relationships. You know what I mean? So it's
Hmm.
like when
Hmm.
we change the mindset of our people, then we can have that conversation about leaving here. But while we're here, we still need to get it. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing about it is we got to take our mindset. We got to know that four quadrants. That Robert Kiyosaki and others have propagated the four quadrants, and we want to be in that entrepreneur concept of quadrant until we can move into the large enterprise quadrant. We do not want to be in the employee quadrant, but that's it's difficult for our people here, and I'm not discounting that at all because I'm one of our people here, and I know how difficult it is. It's like you got to lie, cheat, and steal to get daggone PPP loan, and you see what's happening to them. Oh, BT Dub, I was denied one, so I have my own businesses. I get it out the mud because what they're offering an MBA who has black skin and who's a male is basically what you get without any degree.
Mm-hmm.
So, I got to get it out the dirt. That's why I love your brother so much because he is a hustler and he pulls his hustles. He pulls his hustles, he chooses his hustles, and I'll say things to challenge him just because he's smart.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
not challenge him, but add value, make him, bring it out, because he's smart. But there's the deal. He's smart and he didn't need to go to college. That's the fallacy. You don't need to go to college. You just need to learn. And that's what he did. And so, I love Walter. I love Walter. Um, he's a smart brother. And he put himself in positions where he's demonstrated his worth as a person and as a man. And so don't ever think, I don't want the audience, the chat, I don't want y'all to ever think I would come against Demetra, Walter,
Oh
or
no.
Donovan. They're my
No,
peoples. They're my
no,
peoples.
no.
I
And,
love them. I love
and
them.
yeah,
I love me some of them.
and let me say this, brother Don. No, we never think that, but you know what? Even if you have a differing opinion, so what? That's what iron sharpens iron, right? We learn from
Right,
each other, so
right.
we're not always going to agree, but it's all love at the end of the day. So no, I don't want nobody to ever think they can't come on here and say what they want to say. This is that type of platform where everybody can be heard. Now, if you're saying something over the top, then
Put
we're
one of
gonna
them videos out like that. You know.
yes, indeed. But y'all know what though? We're gonna get out of here because I know Walter itching to go do something while he here.
Mhm,
I ain't gonna go with him, but
mhm. I know about Texas too.
yeah.
I ain't been there in a minute. I ain't been to Houston in a minute, but yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you guys
All
be
right.
safe. You guys be safe,
Yes, indeed.
and we'll see you Sunday.
All right, you do the same, brother Don. Love you.
All right. Much love.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna get out of yes, facts, not feelings, and different opinions is what drives the development of our people. Yes, yes, indeed. And so that's what it's about here. Lady Blue, thank you so much for all your commentary and everything. Only Eva, Shirley, Albie, thank you for reminding people to give the thumbs up. We're gonna get out here. Stacy, you enjoy your evening as well. I'm gonna get out here because I'm burning up and I'm thirsty. So I will see you guys on Sunday with Mr. Donovan Sadiq. It will be an interesting topic. I can guarantee you that. So you guys be well. Peace.